Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Creighton has quieted down this pro-Cardinal crowd here. Ashworth fires and finally hits in the ACC title game. Kalkbrenner gets to the basket, is fouled. And one for Ryan Kalkbrenner. I believe they'd love to get into this drag from your secondary play. There it is. Gives us a highlight right out of the gates.
Wagner attacking the paint. Wagner
Rejected.
Flores sends that one to the cheerleaders. Davis for three. Good! Timeout, Kansas.
Seal somebody down on the block. Mitchell into the paint, lost control. Here comes Banks running the floor. Cruz chasing him down, lets him go by, lays it in. 39-28. Man, this is going to be a wild ride. This NCAA tournament. Nice pass, and Sky Clark on the finishing end.
White, that's a deep three. It's good! Timeout, St. John's. Sutton with 5, over to Osborne, left alone for 3. It's good, and that stops the 7-0 run.
This kid made 8 threes in the semifinals of the Summit.
8-0 run for Pitino. Sutton flies in, and where's the defense?
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live. This is Ravi, Lulla, DB here with me, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union.
Did you just introduce? What did you say?
I don't know.
What the world was that? This is Ravi, Lulla. Who am I?
That's DB.
I don't mean the casting crowns thing. Who am I? The Lord of all the earth.
Shane, can I get a little volume in my headset here?
Yeah,
bud?
I don't know what you're doing with your levels, little dude, but gonna need you to get your act together.
That's a little. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay,
There we go.
all right.
There
I
we
like
go.
the way you're-
Okay. All right.
That boy.
Yeah.
Your Lions hat must have been on too tight.
We're on it this morning.
Swear the magic happens, right?
DB, how are you?
I'm good. I have one more question.
I don't know if you know this, but this is Ravi Lulla.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know what happened,
What
man.
the world is going on? Shane, why did we go back to the Lions today?
That's what I was wearing yesterday.
Why did you? Oh my gosh, it's almost like I'm at home talking to Jay. The question was, why did you go back to the Lions today?
No particular reason. I do like the hat. It matches the Creighton.
Does that question? Does it imply that I acknowledge that you wore it yesterday?
It matches the sweatshirt that I'm wearing, the Creighton blue.
Oh, you wanted to go Blue Jays today?
I just wanted to go blue and black.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Unbelievable, really.
I got absolutely 2 things right about that game.
What's that?
Jackson McAndrew
Needed to be important.
Needed to be a dude.
Yep.
And Coach Mack and his scout is unmatched.
Oh.
Which was my reservation, right?
Yes.
I said
when you picked Louisville, that was your
yeah,
reservation.
I'm like,
yeah.
The only reason, the only thing that could happen is just Mack and his scout.
Coach Mack is better at this than almost everybody else.
That was a grade A bunda kicking. I mean, an annihilation, a shred job.
From top to bottom, really.
It just was. I don't know. We had to go back and I said, now I got to go back and dial into the second half because then I started to kind of relax a little and actually be social. Because it was, what do you think the kitchen felt yesterday?
The kitchen over here?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pretty packed.
I think they felt overwhelmed.
It was, they might have felt a little bit like Louisville.
Oh, that's true. They had a little
getting a little
Louisville. No, don't you do it.
Louisville?
It drives me crazy.
Louisville?
Oh gosh, who's that guy?
Louisville?
Louisville? Why did you have to do the thing with the head? That's kind of weird. Yeah, that was a grade A. I don't think the kitchen got their tail kicked, but that was a lot of food.
Oh yeah. Well, so I got a message from some of the people that run the restaurant and everything, and they said that from the time the bar opened until I think it was about 3, there was not an open table.
Yeah. Well, I had to save one for Amber.
Yeah, you had to.
And he was cool. He was like, "Hey, I'll lay out some menus. because I started to look around, and I was like, nah, we'll be good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It filled up pretty quick.
we might not be good. And then this room was used by Kiewit, so
Yeah, they had a party over here.
which by the way, I think they didn't like hiring isn't the word because I don't know if there'll be a monetary transaction, but I think they wanted me to commit to a couple of events they're having in June.
Oh yeah.
She wanted me to be her celebrity guest, and I said, well, I gotta be a celebrity first. And she's like, well, I know you. And she's very good friends with a very good friend of mine, Mr. Jay Noddle.
Oh yeah.
So that was like, she may have dangled him over my head.
That's tough. Calling in the favors.
I'll call your buddy. I'm going to need you here on June 19th. What's your email? I was like, huh? Am I committed?
Gonna need you here on June 19th. That's one way to go.
Yeah, she said the 13th or the 19th. I'm pretty sure it was the 19th. But anyway, the first part of that's the duality of my personality. The first part was the guy that stood in the same spot at the corner of the bar and broke his neck looking up at the TV.
Yep.
Arms folded. I was all in. I wanted to see what was going on. Once I had a feel for
like how it was going to go,
and I wasn't sure, but I did think Louisville doesn't know what they're doing. Like, they're doing things that I didn't think that they would try to do, and Creighton like cut them up. Because even early, this is the thing for me. Even early, when they weren't really scoring yet,
Creighton,
they were getting any shot they wanted.
Yeah,
I'm like, if those go in, you guys better figure it out.
So that was my one concern early was some days those just don't go in for Creighton.
Yeah, but they that's why you have to watch and not just look at the stats,
right?
Because early on shooting, those were good misses, and they were getting what they wanted.
They were the exact same looks that they made 4 minutes later when they started piling on.
Yeah, I mean that was just a flat out barrage.
But I've seen
barrage. Are there 2 R's?
I don't know.
Which, by the way,
but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced barrage.
I know how it's pronounced, numbnuts.
Well, I don't know. You said
it too. How it was spelled.
You said it 2 wrong ways first.
Because I wanted to get an Iraqi reference.
Okay, fair.
Come on, man.
I did not pick that up.
I need you here.
I did not pick that up.
You here with me.
There are 2 R's in barrage.
3 doors down, by the way.
Yeah, I don't mind 3 doors down. More of a kryptonite guy myself.
You be you.
Kryptonite. Do it for me.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
No.
That was like their original.
No, that's not.
No,
that's not.
Oh, so you like the slower stuff they do.
I know you're gonna poke at that because you think that's. What did you call me? A ballad? More of a ballad?
Yeah,
guy?
you like ballads. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, I appreciate you giving me the green light.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'm giving you permission to be you.
It's okay.
You be you.
Yeah, you be you. I'm very much like Dion these days. I want people to play each other in the spring.
Well, that took off like wildfire. I'm telling you, when you can throw out an idea that you know doesn't stand a snowball's chance in check and a snowball's chance. I'm still on the check polling thing from yesterday. A snowball's chance in heck.
In check.
Yeah.
I think it does get cold over there. Snowball stands a chance.
Yeah, them in Indonesia.
What about the Philippines?
Did I reference that yesterday? No,
I made those jokes. Yeah,
just inappropriate.
Well,
it was incredible. I was utterly impressed with the scout. They dismantled a team
that's a top 10 team in the country. Like, don't be fooled by the seed line.
Yeah. Now the 2 wins over Clemson don't look as good, and
sure,
but the first half against Duke was sensational.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, every metrics like. Say what you will about the seed line, say what you will about the 2 wins against Clemson, whatever, right? But every metric in the country has that as a top 15 team at worst.
Yeah, right? So that's not a bad deal. What do you think?
I thought there was like an embargo on Canada.
No, I beat the rush.
Oh, okay.
Tariffs hadn't started.
Well, that's not what I meant.
Are they? Wow. That's what we're on this morning.
We're like, not gonna.
It's not, and there was never. There's probably like a 2-year embargo. It's over with. It's just what we're on this morning. Huh?
I'm not gonna roll up here with like some Tillamook and Spotted Cow. You know what I mean?
Okay. See what we're
Equal opportunity. It's a
yes.
two-way street.
See what we're doing. Tillamook is fire, though.
It is good. It's a
To be
bummer.
honest. I don't know much about Spotted Cow. I know that
It's a wildly overrated beer.
Yeah, so we got it. Somebody in my former life, somebody brought it up to the studio, and it was in my back seat. It was wrapped.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Shane?
Oh, yeah.
And it was wrapped. It was in the back seat.
Can I give like a lukewarm take?
Not necessarily hot. Okay, give me is this a lukewarm Spotted Cow take?
This is like a Luke May warm Spotted Cow take.
Yeah, I'm a big Luke May guy. It's a nice, thick, plush eyebrows.
So to me, Spotted Cow is the in and out of beers.
Okay.
We're obsessed with it because we don't have it.
So an old confidant of mine, my first Yoda, Mr. Tepper.
Oh yeah, Dave Tepper's
Do you
good,
know what
good
he
man.
would say that was?
What's that?
Yingling.
Oh yeah. Yingling's a good one.
He said he would say Yingling is the in and out
Yeah.
of beers.
We're obsessed with it because we don't have it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because in and out is,
Wildly overrated.
I mean, ridiculous.
People talk about
with the get it monster style with the sauce.
whose voice is that?
Oh no, in and out.
It almost sounded like B. Edwards. You gotta get the cream cheese, the butter, the bagel.
I was in Vegas with B. Edwards watching fights, and he did not order a burger. He got nachos. It's
Yeah?
a very upscale bar.
You know, we have nachos.
Yeah, and they were short rib.
Ooh, people have been putting short rib on a lot of stuff lately.
So it's on my algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a thing. It's the kind of the new thing to put on stuff.
Yeah.
Quesadillas, tacos.
I was at a grocery store, and I think people are just trying to use all the parts because now you can get like oxtails at Costco,
Oh, really?
vacuum sealed. Yeah,
That used to not be a thing.
well, it was for poor people,
Yeah,
poorer people.
Yeah.
People that wanted to be
like economical.
economical and
Yeah.
use everything right. With marrow's now back and oxtails are back.
But it wasn't like a common.
No,
yeah.
I was at a grocery store, and they had feather bones, which is very similar to using all of the cuts. It's
Okay.
like in the South, they'd be like, "Man, that's the part of the ribs that don't have any meat."
Yeah.
Closer regionally, like feather bones, you do them right, they're
Really good. Really
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
incredible. But that's how I feel about short ribs too. Didn't used to be an expensive cut. Now it's kind of getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like picanha a year and a half ago was reasonable.
The same thing happened to tequila. Tequila got like popular,
I know.
and now it's
Believe me,
through the roof.
Yeah, I paid the price. I know.
It's
Literally.
it's rough.
I'm
It's
like,
rough.
wait a minute. This used to be $16.99. Nina Ross,
Yeah.
baby.
Now
And
it's-
now we're like 24,
Yeah.
27. But I do have a mid-level. I do have a mid-level taquilla that I would go with.
like a mid-level exception, like the NBA, trying to make a trade deal.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to your boy.
I hope his butt's okay.
Yeah, it's a little tailbony.
Yeah.
Fell on his tunchi.
Fell on his bunda, as we would say.
I feel like you're making fun of
No,
that
that's.
word.
I was trying to help you out.
Is it cool if I say ASS?
No, I don't care.
Ass. He fell on his ass.
You can call it whatever you want.
Like, ooh, DB, you almost said a cuss word. You and Timmy Vrzal. Timmy. Sometimes he doesn't tell the truth. So like with the restaurant and the food,
Mhm.
somehow we morphed into the ribs and then the taquilla. Go with Lalo.
Yeah.
Lalo. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty fantastic, especially at its price point.
Yeah.
It is incredible. So if ever you after you say something silly and you need to make nice or you offend me and we don't talk for a couple of days and you want the olive branch, I hate olives, but I'll drink Lalo. All right.
When's the last time that happened?
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I do need to throw a couple more curveballs. You're getting way too comfortable. It's really starting to piss me off.
Just right in the, I'm settling into the batter's box.
Inappropriate. Every day.
Inappropriate.
Every day.
What'd I do?
Every day. Inappropriate. So we're
You tried to throw a couple in yesterday in the group text.
I know the fake meme.
Yeah.
Although I think one of them, I was like, wait a minute. Kansas is playing hard. Why are you guys saying they're laying down? They're disinterested. That bugged me. That was real. I got off of it because 4 minutes later they turned the ball over 16 times in a row.
Yeah, I don't think they're consistently disinterested. Maybe lack of focus is a better word. I think they have a hard time focusing.
So I said this about Houston.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that was just because it was Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I said it about BYU, and I was like, that was on the road. That's a tough place to play. No, they're just ridiculously dumb with the basketball.
Kansas? Yeah.
Some of those turnovers, they're laughable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, they're laughable.
Maybe focus is a better word than interested. They lack focus consistently.
Like, where did they think some of those passes were going?
It starts with Dickinson.
Oh, God. Oh.
You know he drives me crazy.
Yeah, but metrics seem to like him because I don't know if they're like they can register those one-arm flings or
where he's not even looking at anybody,
where that thing has to bounce 5 times to get through the defense. I'm like, that's not. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a maddening team.
He is.
They don't even give themselves. They don't even get it up on the glass.
Yeah, they don't give themselves a chance half the time. He's one of the most frustrating players. Because I do think, and this is where I'm typically a metrics guy. I like the metrics, but this is where the metrics leave things lacking, right? Yeah. Because Hunter Dickinson on paper looks like a good basketball player. Yeah. If you watch him play, I don't want him anywhere near my basketball team.
Don't you think there's more in there?
Oh, 100%. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That dude is imminently capable.
So who do you think right now is? And one you wouldn't know as well.
Easy, Jason. I don't know if Kansas loses to Nebraska. Nebraska can do some pretty dumb stuff too.
I was going to say, whose storied program has a more disgruntled fan base? Iowa wrestling,
okay,
or Kansas basketball? Iowa wrestling hasn't had a national champion not named Spencer Lee, I believe, since 2017.
Well, so Penn State's kind of sitting on their corner
and
now,
they're
right?
Back-to-back years without a Big Ten champ,
which is crazy for Iowa.
I mean, and I'm not that I'm perusing the wrestling message board, but I do like the wrestling world, and Iowa fan is like,
well, Penn State's kind of
brands, right? Like that's the equivalent to Self.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a stretch.
Iowa's like Alabama football, like they're the dude.
Yeah,
and Penn State's sort of Georgia. They're sitting on their corner right now. And so I do imagine there's a large amount of frustration there. I can't pretend like I'm super plugged in. The reason I would say Iowa's fan base is more disgruntled, though, is because we talked about this before. Self seems to get a lot of benefit of the doubt, whether it comes to roster construction.
Was this the Mount Rushmore back-to-back days?
Yeah.
It's kind of been in general. That's how you feel about Self.
Yeah.
But I love Self.
I think he's really good, but there's other fan bases that if they experienced what Kansas has gone through, I mean, think about all the first-round exits.
Well, I think you just have to watch them play this year. I would be extremely frustrated.
Oh, 100%. But I also wonder, like, at some point that's on Bill Self too, right?
Yeah.
Like, at some point that's partially on him.
I shouldn't have even paused. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely,
he's the one that put this roster together, and he's the one that can't seem to get them to lock in for any significant stretch of time. It's like I do think winning the title just a few years ago helps him out a lot. But since then, second round exit, first round exit. Before that, second round exit. They did make a Final Four in 2018. But there's a lot of early exits for this team that is.
Let's not go back to the struggles.
Your Bucknells and your Bradleys and whatever else, right? So, like, these are, for a guy that is nearly untouchable, lifetime contract, right? He doesn't seem to get hardly any pushback from what I consider to be a fairly rabid fan base. Whereas if this, I mean, I get he's got another national title than Calipari does.
I'm listening, yeah.
But outside of the extra national title, which didn't happen for, let me check here, 14 years after his first one. In between. Calipari got fired for this, basically. Yeah. Like, he got fired for doing exactly what Bill Self does. There's a lot of guys at programs as good as Kansas where this would be unacceptable.
Who had the best coaching performance of the day?
Oh, it was Mac.
Over Will Wade?
100%, yeah.
I all bias aside, I agree.
Now, Will Wade did an incredible job.
I can't even remember the adjective I used with Mac, He hit me with the power. I don't think I gave another. I gave another adjective other than incredible.
It was so the thing that I was most impressed with, because I expect them to get good shots at this point, right? I know there's some days they don't, but when he's got time on a scout and it's not a St. John's type of defense, I expect them to get good looks. Well, what I was so impressed with.
It's not even a St. John type defense. It's the fact that St. John is familiar with what they do.
And allowed
You could say that against anybody that's seeing them for the first time.
Yes.
Advantage Mac.
And
I said that yesterday before they even played.
You've said that a lot.
Yeah.
You've said that a ton.
He's
when people are unfamiliar with Creighton and Coach Matt,
they're a ridiculous scout.
They're a bear to deal with. But I expect them to get good looks, right? That's a given for me. What impressed me the most is Louisville could not get anything they want.
T-Mac is right. He said, did Louisville do any scout? I couldn't believe it. The lobs at the rim early, and I'm like, what are you guys trying to do? Have you not watched? That doesn't work.
No. It doesn't work for anyone. But again, people get
that is a good point.
People get fooled by the way Ryan Kalkbrenner looks. I am convinced of this. Yeah. We saw it with Peavy in Georgetown try and dunk on him 4 times and it not work. Yeah. People are confused because they see this guy who kind of just looks like a stiff. They don't understand that he's probably the best defensive player in the country.
Oh, he is.
And he goes and
he's certainly the most valuable.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And
certainly the most valuable.
And they look at him and they go, oh, we can get over him. We can get over top of him. We're more athletic than these guys. We can get that on them when they couldn't. No, you can't. It's been 4 years. Nobody can.
How much pressure is there on Carolina and Duke
to carry the water for the ACC?
And if you're riding with UNC,
that's a roller coaster.
Now they could easily win
for sure, but that's a roller coaster experience to be riding with UNC.
And so here's the
sometimes
thing,
within the same game.
Ole Miss has to understand, if you're disciplined, you can get what you need to against Carolina. If you play their way,
you're not going to get anything.
And you let Carolina get going,
yeah, you're in trouble.
They'll look like they're good.
That's the thing that I was so surprised.
But they got a little Kansas in them too. Well, they'll have about 8 or 9 possessions in a row. Well, they'll give you live ball turnovers, 5 or 6 of them,
and dare you to score.
It's like, okay, fellas, you're just not going to value the rock today, huh?
That was the thing that impressed me the most yesterday with Creighton and Louisville was Louisville didn't get anything they wanted offensively, not a single thing. The only reason they pretty much ever scored was because of outstanding.
They're always tough shots.
It was outstanding individual efforts by mostly Chucky.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the unbelievable part of the scout yesterday was Louisville didn't get anything. And I don't want to say stunned. I was really impressed by the level of execution Creighton had.
Yeah, so FanDuel apparently is not in the habit of giving away money. But you know what his props were? One was plus 110, the other was plus 115.
For who?
Chucky Hepburn.
Oh, for Chucky. Okay, yeah.
I'll take it.
17.5 points.
Yeah.
Plus 110. 6 assists, plus 115.
What'd he finish with?
22 and 6. He averages 6 assists. You should have just penciled that in.
Yeah, I would say the 6 assists seems super low.
But the 9 of 23 is not going to be what they're after.
No.
Not if they.
He had to, though. They weren't getting anything.
Here's the other thing. I was not. Edwards got worked.
Yeah, he did. He was a non-factor.
He got worked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I go back to the officiating in the leagues. Big East, much more physical than the ACC.
Yeah.
But he's a really good defender.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the action or the constant movement, but you're letting Neal get into the paint off the bounce when just stop the dribble drive penetration. And he's
going right.
Yeah, and if he goes left, he's going to spin.
He's coming back.
He's going to spin.
Coming right back.
I was like, compromised.
Yeah.
Compromised. I don't know how many good looks Jackson McAndrew was going to get. In the first couple, I was like, oh, come on, J-Mac.
Yeah.
Then a couple get splashed down. And how about the place cheering with every basket?
Oh man, it was terrific. It was great
I was
atmosphere.
like, this is like.
It was a great atmosphere.
It was like being at CHI.
It was.
And then they'd have to, go back to eating. And then it was like, and during the 19-2 run, they just stopped cheering. They just went crazy because you weren't going to get every basket because they scored them in a flurry. So you'd be like, yay.
Yeah,
yay,
they just kept loud.
yay,
They just stayed loud.
Yay. It's just like,
They stopped eating.
yeah, you guys, people just were gawking.
Oh, yeah.
And the shot making was incredible.
So I think part of it, for me at least, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but for me, part of the reason I was so excited early with every basket is because I wasn't sure how it was going to go.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
There was a lot of nervous energy.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how the game was going to go. So every time they scored, I was like, okay, that's a good possession. Like, that's a good opportunity. And especially with the way it started early where they missed some of the early shots, that kind of increased that anxiety that it might just be one of those days where Creighton gets 40 open looks from threes and doesn't make any of them.
Yeah.
And so when they started knocking them down, I was like, okay, breakthrough. Like, keep it going. Let's keep rolling.
Hey, was my guy anything like I described, or was he something completely different?
Oh, no, he was cool.
No, like his person. Is that what you get out of when I talk about him all the
time? He was probably more low key than I expected.
He's always like that.
Yeah, just like real even keel.
Always like
super
that.
chill.
Yeah, that's the guy that gets you off the ledge.
Yeah, seemed like a super cool dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I could hang out with that guy.
I was a little shocked with the whole crowd thing too, because that's not usually his style.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
he must like you.
I hope so.
Because that's generally like what happens if you get somebody in a place they're normally not comfortable, and then you invite them. It's because they like you, right?
He's fantastic.
Like when I first met my wife, she like invited me to this to go on a little like sailboat with her, and I'm not like a huge fan of water. And
so, how did you stumble into having a boat?
Well, we got a big enough boat that I felt comfortable.
Oh my god!
She got me out on this little snipe.
I don't even know what that. I thought aren't those mushrooms?
No big deal.
I don't know, but there's the thing in there's.
Wait, Shane, is that a joke? Is that a fictitious thing people hunt over?
Yeah, snipe hunting. That's the thing that they.
But
make.
It's a real thing, though. Right?
I don't think so. I think it's a thing people make up to like play pranks on people. Like, oh, we're gonna go.
I don't even recognize.
I know what we called a snipe when we were younger, but that's very juvenile and high schoolish. Yeah, just Google real quick before I make a fool of myself.
What is a snipe?
It's not funny, Shane.
Oh, it's a bird.
Okay, so it is a
real bird.
Okay.
Don't put that crap on me.
Yeah, just hand all in the mouth.
I'm gonna have to ask about that off air.
That's fine.
And then I forget whether it's on or off air.
Yeah, you just rat me out about flavors.
Being racist.
Flavors of C4, sir. That's all.
I didn't have the heart to tell Wyatt what you were going to say. He was probing. I said, oh, just Ravi, big Ravi.
What's that even mean?
He needed context.
We
needed to do something.
He's talking about momos?
Yeah, by the way. Whew.
Dude, those kids are crazy.
Aren't they?
They're nuts.
Dude,
Sawyer's cool, though. I like Sawyer.
He's a G.
He's got...
Listen, that little dude, he's a total G. He understands. Now, he didn't get nutty.
Yeah.
Until
like late.
The rest of the bad boys came.
Yeah.
But seriously, those
by himself, he was pretty cool.
Yeah. He can be a high functioning adult.
That's the problem with kids is like they'll be super cool when they're just like chilling with adults and whatever. There's a couple of them, and then they get 4 other 8-year-old boys or however old they are around.
Dude, how about Sadie? Is she not a boss?
Turns into
itty bitty little pocket full of dynamite.
She just runs that joint.
She's like, let's play tic-tac-toe. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we had the little drawing pads out.
Yeah.
I slid in. Why did she go SD with a line through it? I said, what are you doing? She said, we're keeping score.
She's like, how many times are we playing, kid?
I was like, really? What?
She's on that business.
Who does that at that age? She's 6.
But Sawyer's just showing me all his baseball and football cards and stuff. I was like, man, that kid's just like me when I was
He came in double strapped. He's like, I was standing out the corner of the bar watching the game, and he goes, I brought my cards. All right, buddy.
I almost told him, I was like, man, I've got like totes full of binders of cards.
Hey, man, you be careful now. He'll drive up there, do the pull up, and get off the phone books. He'll be like, how'd you get here? I drove.
Are we expecting him today?
My dad builds cars.
No, I don't think he's rolling up today. Although they don't have school still, right?
No, heck no. I asked. I said, you guys come up and
Those kids
help with the show.
Those kids never go to school.
It is weird.
Like they're just rolling up in the middle of the day. I was like, don't you guys have school?
Well, you got to be like,
I feel like I had school more than this.
His kids go to private school, and last week, I can't remember what we were going to do before I got the bad news about Jeff. And he's like, oh, my wife and daughter, they're in they've got a resort-type cabin. And the minute he said the state, I was like, oh, fudge, bougie.
Yeah.
I know a guy that has property out there. And he goes, no, it's not quite the same, but yeah, they're out there. And I said, like, there's no school? And he goes, well, no, but I figured it'd be easier for miss a couple of days now than, like, oh, it must be rough.
I mean, listen, when you're paying for the private education, you kind of get to decide when they go and not, right? Yeah. That's how I felt about college, right? I was like, hey, bud, you work for me, all right?
Is that what you want? She doesn't strike me as the type of young lady that would say that either.
It's possible. That's why some of my professors in college didn't like me that much.
My dad is paying for your salary.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, this isn't a public education here. This is on my dime.
But how'd you feel about Day's coaching performance?
I
said Day.
Dusty May. Yeah.
They just do what they do, don't they? It's 56-46, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna pull away.
No, I never thought that.
Nah,
I never thought that.
Really?
I never thought they were gonna pull away because
that's not how UC San Diego. That wasn't the real UC San Diego.
I know.
It still got to the number.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I backed off of some of the ones that I did, but because it just was getting too publicly. Like, High Point, Purdue.
Yeah.
I didn't like San Diego, but although full disclosure, like you can admit, I did go back and forth on that.
Yeah,
filling that bracket out.
And that I will say, and I'm not a blame the refs guy, the whistle got a little sus at the end of that game.
Are you 16?
I spent too much time with Caleb yesterday.
How about that dude? He's good. He's put together.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
I was like, geez. He'll kind of just bump into me and stuff.
Yeah.
He's easy going though.
That'll fit his desired playing style well though, because he likes to hit people.
Yeah. So he I think he got this from me. You know what he did with that macaroni?
What's that?
He has conditioning this morning.
Yeah.
So he drove back and he's like, I'm gonna save that and take it to Lincoln. I'll eat your food. Like, that is so.
He's saving up on his resources. I like it.
Dude, he's that dude.
He's doing his little portions out. He's rationing it out. I like it.
Fudge, after my buddy was putting together a potential NIL deal for him, and he's like, "Yep, be right there." I was like, "Well, you got to talk to him now. If we're be there in 5." Dude, just bebops on over. I was like, "Oh, dude's always about business."
Will says Self seemed worn out and disinterested himself at times this season. I think this team wore on him.
So my man JB and KC.
Yeah.
Like, I think he said it all year. They're just miserable watching. Self just seems miserable watching that team.
Yeah. He seemed like this team wore on him.
Although we got a good comp. This is the second one. I think AC's was first.
What's that?
You know he comped Bill Self to?
Who?
Bob Stoops.
Oh, that's a good one.
Kind of like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I kind of like it. Consistently won every year. Fan base loves them. Didn't win the big one as much as their reputation suggests.
Yeah, like probably didn't win as much as he should have.
I like that.
Yeah. And I'm even like Self is closer to my Mount Rushmore.
Me too.
Than
like
I'm having more of a conversation about Self than I am about John Wooden, to be honest.
No, I'm with you.
But there is kind of this thing out there where you're like, he probably should have like 3 or 4.
Do you know I'm missing the 6th team? I knew Patino had taken 5. Did you know he got the 6?
Yes, because I had seen it, but I forget who it was. So it was Providence.
Yeah.
I'm skipping one. Kentucky, Louisville, Iona, St. John's. And I'm missing one that I think I forgot he coached at.
Me too.
But it is 6.
But they said 6, and I was like, what am I?
There is a 6th one because I saw a tweet about this.
4, 6, 8, 12.
Coach McGuire, how we doing?
How is also
They're gonna be good.
How is he only 72 years old?
Patino?
Yeah.
How about how he shots fired though when they went to the in-game cut-in, which I know those coaches hate doing?
Boston.
Yeah. And you were thinking Celtics, weren't you?
No, I always forget that he coached at Boston.
What do you have against Terriers?
I like Terriers. I'm a big Staffordshire Terrier guy.
Well, those are like pits.
Yeah, I love pit bulls. But they're technically Terriers.
No, I get the. What did I just tell you?
I really got to be careful on what I say about.
I'm a big Staffy guy.
I said, well, those are pit bulls, and you go, yeah, those are Terriers.
Yeah, I like pit bulls.
Yeah, no bleep.
Most people think a Terriers is like littler dogs, though.
Is that a word?
Littler?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Littler. Littler.
It's flickering.
Coming up on the show today, we got Tim Verghese coming up at 8 o'clock.
Dude is wild, boy, I tell you.
We are not going to talk to Mike Sauter today because he's back on a plane headed to Omaha, but we are going to talk to Zach Peerless.
Sweet baby Jesus. Twice in twice in a week, what would we have done?
With Sauter?
Yeah.
I know, it's way too much.
I think it'd have been extra crab apple.
Yeah, he definitely would have dropped some extra F-bombs. Zach Peerless will join us at 8:40 from CBS Sports, talking about college basketball. And then, of course, we have our 9:45 regular, Matt Vrzal.
How about my man Shane saying peerless?
Like Price. You know,
that was a great pull.
I almost texted him back saying, thank you for referencing something I would know.
Yeah, that was
very helpful, actually.
What do you know about Peerless Price, Shane? Did you used to be a volunteer?
All I know is he tore up my Seminoles in 1998.
Yeah.
Team Martin.
Man, how good can a dude be that's wearing 37?
I'm just saying, how good can your third-string quarterback Marcus Outson be?
There was one guy that was here yesterday from Country Hearth.
Yeah.
I mean, super guy. It was more like networking, right? Anything. I'm like, hey, I love my boss. I can't come. No, anyway. We were just talking about teams we grew up with, and he's like, man, there's only two teams that I just cannot stand. What do you think, an older Nebraska fan, those two teams that he just cannot stand?
Florida State, Colorado?
Florida State and
Miami?
Miami.
Yeah. I knew it was either Florida State, Colorado, or Miami.
The new age will say Texas, but
yeah, old school, it's Florida State, Colorado, or Miami.
Yep.
It's one of those three for sure.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
We've got some exciting news here to elevate your March to the next level. Introducing Menu Madness here at Hurrdat Sports Bar. This isn't just any tournament. This is a bracket featuring 16 of our most popular food items, and you decide the winner each week when your favorite items go head-to-head. And here's the best part. When you vote, you're automatically signed up for our free loyalty program. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Hurrdat Sports Bar to watch your favorite team, the biggest games, and get those votes in for your favorite menu item today.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you when you're out driving this morning, keep those seat belts buckled. It prevents injuries and saves lives, but only if worn properly. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. DB.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing today? We doing all right?
I'm good. So if I feel like you should ask Amber yourself. Ask her the question you asked me. She'll respond.
Ask her what?
What did you ask me over break?
Oh, she gets after it.
What was the question, though?
Oh, how does she consume that much?
Yeah.
It's impressive, honestly.
Dude, I've never seen anything like it.
So I'm not even like judging. I want that to be clear. I just like that volume of liquid I could not consume.
Who else could get in the water and pull a boat?
That was like my introduction. She's like, I got it.
Listen, when I say no limit, I mean no limit.
Like Texas Hold'em. I was impressed, honestly.
Like, I saw her sock John a couple times, and it hurt me. I'm dead dog serious.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would want to get hit.
I'm like, that may shut his kidneys. He's kind of yoked too, so he can eat it, but
like one of those like liver shots where you get like a 30-second delay and then you collapse.
It's whatever she puts her mind to. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Super. Where do you think Sadie got it? You're gonna keep scoring tic-tac-toe, and she's like, oh, cat. Oh, another cat. Oh, another cat. I was like, we may be doing this a while. And here I am.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Not that I was gonna try to get over on a kiddo, but I was like, let me go first. Yeah, it didn't seem to matter. I don't know why I'm not good at tic-tac-toe. I'm just not.
Were you like competitive juices making you mad a little bit?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Did you see me? Oh, you might have been talking to AC, but I like scribbled it out. I was like, start over. Let's do it again.
I did not see that.
Yeah, well, I'm that dude.
No.
It's okay. All right, competition it's okay.
Competitive stamina. We like it.
Kind of like, are you? So you've seen this thing now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you one more chance.
Yeah.
Are you in or out on Colorado State, Memphis? Wait, who you got? It's a trend. Did any of the trendy picks hit yesterday?
Not really.
Yale got dusted.
They teased us.
UC San Diego
teased
didn't do
us.
it. They did.
They
Oh yeah,
teased
we
us.
were kind of
them and High Point both teased us a little bit because they made these runs, get like five.
I got it. Yep, guys said, nah, don't fall for the High Point.
Said don't fall High Point, UC San Diego, or I don't think Yale was that trendy. I think we liked Yale.
Yeah. Well, no, I think
Was
a lot of people, like if they were going to pick, kind of what I said, like if you're going to pick one,
Okay.
it would be Yale. Somebody has a perfect bracket. My guy Eric in his pool,
Mhm.
he said we had one person in the pool, and I think they had 195 entries.
Yeah.
He said one person got that side of the bracket right.
Man. Yeah, so here's where I'm having a hard time with Memphis because I think Nico's a better coach than Penny.
Yeah. Although,
but Memphis
we hate on Penny, but
he's done a pretty good job.
His track record is pretty good.
And I think he's sort of finally found the type of team he wants to coach.
Yeah. Instead of getting a couple 5-stars that were for hire that he couldn't get to play.
100%.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before, that matters. Right. And I think people assume because Penny is this high profile guy that that would be his chosen. Right. And he's an AAU guy, right? He comes from.
Yeah. But even as, did you watch the whole deal with Shaq and the Magic? And he's kind of a shy guy though.
Yeah.
He always has been. Didn't want to do the Reebok commercial and
the Sprite stuff.
Which is why he used Little Penny
as like an avatar.
As a buffer.
Yeah.
Right?
Between him and the rest of the world.
Yeah, where you can talk through
Little Penny.
So I don't know. He's kind of a low pro guy.
No, I get that, but his resume would lead you to believe he's a go get the one and done 5-star guys.
Yeah.
Right? The AAU background, the NBA background, coming up the way he did. And honestly, that's probably why he got hired. If we're being real, he probably got hired because they looked at him and said, oh, he can bring high profile guys.
And you think
to
Medvedev
Memphis.
probably fills one of the remaining openings, right?
I would have to imagine whether it's Minnesota or Iowa or because I don't know what McCollum's going to do.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to do anything.
Yeah.
And we've seen already this guy is patient.
They are still favored after opening up as the dog.
Drake?
CSU.
Oh, CSU.
Oh, Drake is one. Drake is one people liked.
Yeah.
And I liked Missouri.
Yeah. I liked Drake on that one, but mostly because
Swinging a miss on the whole Kansas City, whether it's Kansas or Missouri.
Yeah.
For those of you that live on State Line Road, my boy Dumas used to live off State
Oh,
Line
yeah.
Road. Yeah.
I liked Drake. I think as a pure coach, I probably lean Nico. But
Medvedev.
Yeah, I always want to say Medved, and that's not right. Medvedev, I always leave out a syllable.
You might be thinking New York Rangers hockey.
That's almost certainly not the case.
Peter Nedved. He was nice.
Unless he plays for my Winnipeg Jets, I probably am not talking about him.
My man could skate.
Or my guy Dominic Hasek with the scramble style goalie.
Your guy?
Well, actually, not really my guy because I don't like that style. It makes me nervous.
I got a tricky one for you.
What's that?
Vandy and St. Mary's.
That one is super tricky. I don't have a good feel on that one at all.
Listen, how unaesthetically pleasing is that game going to be?
Oh, it's going to be horrifying.
For those of you that haven't watched Vandy, you're going to wonder how they win games.
At all.
But they do. And St. Mary's is
grimy.
One of the slowest, grimiest, muck it up, squeeze the peel.
Not terribly dissimilar to Drake. Now, Drake is more skilled.
Did you see the 1 foot
by Sturts?
3 by Sturts?
Yes.
Isn't he wild?
That's some.
He shoots any shot he wants to at any point he wants to.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He is. That's one of those I'm feeling myself shots that you just like. Not a lot of guys try that shot.
And what are you going to say to him?
Well, yeah, I mean he's your best player. You've got some leeway there.
Is there any high seed that you're worried about? Troy's getting a little love.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
That's thick, man. 11.5.
I don't have a good enough feel for Troy to feel strongly about that one. Honestly, the highest, and I know this isn't, they're a favorite, but they are a double-digit seed. I mean, I do think North Carolina straight up beats Ole Miss. I think that. I do worry a little bit about Iowa State. I don't know where they're at.
They're used to playing without somebody good, whether
Yeah.
it's Jones or Lipsy or Gibson.
But I think Lipscomb is a little capable.
Yeah.
And so I wonder a little bit there. I'm not picking that upset. I do like New Mexico. I know it's only a 7-10, but I do like New Mexico against Marquette.
Gonzaga Max, he likes SMU.
Ooh.
As he says, SEC, he sounds like you. Getting 14 bids was ridiculous.
Oh, it is. I mean, that's dumb.
Gonzaga Max here for SMU. I don't know if I see that. I watched Smoo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say Grand Canyon because I'm a Maryland guy, apparently.
You like UConn?
I don't like them, but I think they're going to win, yeah. I don't think Oklahoma's, like, again, they're basically Texas. They shouldn't be here.
You're such a hater.
I'm not a hater. You're 6-12 in conference. Go home.
Not SMU. I meant St. Mary's.
Like, you're 6-12 in conference. Go home. That's actually SMC. They're a college, not a university.
Yeah, and I read, but I knew what he was talking about because we were talking about Vandy.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Is there anybody you like?
So I know the game that I want to watch the most.
What's that?
Okay, I'm not.
You want me to guess?
No. Yeah, you can guess.
Okay, I'm just looking at this.
You can guess
bracket,
and I'll write it down.
Okay, I believe you. I believe you're not gonna lie to me.
The game that I'm the most interested in.
The game you're the most interested in today.
Today?
To this day? It's not gonna be Ole Miss, North Carolina, because you gotta have a self-loathing thing.
Come on.
To this day.
Arizona, Akron.
To this day.
Did I say it was for the $20?
Uh-uh.
Damn it. I was afraid to lose it. That's why.
Yeah.
In my subconscious. But I wanted to. I can't believe you missed it.
What is it?
I'll give you. Take your time.
Right.
It's staring you right in the goddamn face.
Is it?
The easiest the easiest shoot. Sawyer would get it. Los Angeles Dodgers. little terror.
Why you gotta be hating on me?
Because he hustled me out of $5.
What'd you lose $5 to Sawyer on?
He guessed my favorite baseball team.
Oh, so he knew.
No, he got 3 picks.
Oh, really?
We started with the Yankees. He was clueless. And then he said, I don't know, is it somebody in Carolina? And I was like, and I'm, again, competitive, so I made it count, even though there's no team in Carolina. I was like, nope, that counts. That counts. That counts. You know, and then he went through this process of elimination. I was like, damn it.
Your favorite team, the Green Wave.
It's easy. Take your time. Take your time.
Okay. I don't have a good feel here. I'm going to say Mississippi State Baylor.
Xavier and Illinois.
Oh, duh.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, that's on me.
Staring you right in the face.
It is.
I was texting back and forth with Evan. So you're 1,000% right. Not one, maybe only one basketball text. It was all wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude is dialed in with his squad.
Oh, yeah.
He loves them.
Super dialed. I was like.
And some of those dudes are super cool. I've met a few of them when I was out there. Like, those dudes are super cool.
Because basically it's me, Degenerate Aaron.
Cody.
Cody was supposed to be calling me. I can't remember what he wanted. He's supposed to be calling us this morning. And I don't even know if it was wrestling related. But there's only like a handful.
Yeah.
I mean, Jess.
Yeah.
She hit me with Rich.
Mustard.
That's what I think of. I don't
Every
know why
time.
I did that voice. Yeah. Xavier and Illinois. Because whomever wins that game is kind of mystical, dangerous.
So I wanted to ask you this.
Go ahead.
Who is the Mike?
I mean, this is a talk show.
Who is the Michael Brunts in terms of high variance it left in this tournament? Because
I think it's Illinois.
So that was where I was leaning.
I think it's Illinois.
The other team, I'm gonna let you guess one more. The other team I think it could be
that would have a run in them.
Yeah, but could also be bounced today.
Oh, I know who I think it is.
Who?
Kentucky.
Oh, that's not who I thought it was.
Is it better or worse than is Kentucky better or worse than
Kentucky's better. Kentucky's better.
Because they're capable.
Yeah, 100%.
Those guys have double-digit losses, and I mean they own quad one.
They're a 3 seed, double-digit losses. Weird. But second place in the Big East with.
Do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, he's so principled. He's a little baby. He's like, oh, double-digit losses.
I'm just saying. Just because you have 16 teams in your league instead of like 10 or 11.
All right, Gonzaga Max. I'm just gonna call him Zaggy Max.
Just call him
Max here for Gonzaga.
I'm just gonna start calling him Ziggy like Marley.
Who is it?
North Carolina.
Yeah, I think they can only win 2 more though.
You think so?
Yeah,
because I was looking at their path.
I think that's their ceiling. Ravi, they turned the ball over.
I know.
You've been watching. We've been interacting while they're playing, and it's. I think every time there's a stretch where they turn it over 4 consecutive possessions.
So Ole Miss, that's one. You think they can beat Iowa State?
Yeah.
And you don't think they can beat Michigan State?
No.
Okay, that's fair. But I mean, an Elite Eight is a run.
Well, it's a heck of a run.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a run.
Yeah.
I think two's their ceiling.
Fair. Where Illinois, they could go to a Final Four.
Yeah.
If they're playing well.
Yes. They've got length. They can shoot it.
Super high end talent. Super high end talent.
They have 3 pros.
Yeah. 2 guys that are going to go in the first round this year.
Yeah. Carolina doesn't have – I'm not going to say any. They probably have 1.
They don't have any first round pros.
Yeah. So –
which is – I actually want to talk to you about that at some point. Like, I'm a little
talent.
I'm a little confused.
Some of their guys – now, they lost one when Cadeau and they lost what's-his-buckets, who was the number 2 or 3 player in the country when Caleb Love committed. But he's not playing well, so I don't know if he would have been good or not. But the recruiting has been better on paper than it's really panned out to be because they still don't shoot it well enough.
Yeah, I have some questions about that. We can get to that later.
We don't have to poke at those guys. It's fine.
I'm not poking. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious.
Glad to see you switched up your C4 flavor too.
We'll get back to Tim Verghese here.
Ice cream.
Mustard. We'll get to Team Verghese here on Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
A first-round victory for the Creighton Blue Jays. Coach, that's a 5th straight for this team in an NCAA tournament, having a win. What does that say just about the culture of this program in March?
Says Ryan Kalkbrenner's pretty good. He's been part of all 5 of them. But no, I'm proud that we've been able to maintain that culture and sustain it during a time where it's really difficult, where you're constantly building a new team every year. Sometimes it would get lost in that is how do you build a program at the same time and maintain the culture. And we've been able to do that because of the leadership in our program. Starts with Kalk, and obviously Stephen has been terrific since he walked on campus. After that St. John's game, I don't think you thought you'd face another home crowd, quote unquote, but how did you guys stay together and kind of flush that away? Yeah, when the selection show happened, I think we were disappointed. My staff had prepared for 9 teams that we thought were kind of in our wheelhouse, and Louisville didn't make that list because we thought their seed line was going to be much higher. So we had to go to work Sunday night. But once you figure out who you're playing, you forget about whether you got a good draw or a bad draw. If you want to advance, you got to figure it out. So I really believe that our experience Friday night and Saturday night in New York prepares you for what happened today. Like, not many teams have to play a road game like that in the NCAA tournament, and we figured out a way to get it done. Was that one of the best games you've ever executed on offense, you would say, in terms of game plan? Yeah, I mean, we've had some good ones, but the defensive execution was really good as well. We didn't want Chucky to be a scorer and a passer. We felt like we wanted to put him in positions where he's going to take a lot of 2-point shots or tough threes, but he's so dangerous with the pass. We didn't want to step up off guys and let him kill us with that as well. So we beat a heck of a basketball team, and I'm really excited and proud of my team. Yeah, how about Jemiah Neal? A career night for him, a 1-year transfer guy that came to this program to be in your system. Yeah, he's grown so much, and it's been fun to be part of. It's hard to come in to a system that's new and you're not accustomed to, and my expectations and how we play are different than where he came from. But to his credit, he's bought in, and he's really connected with this group of guys. I think he trusts them, and then as time has gone on, they've developed a huge trust in him as well. So it was good to see him shine today because he's done a lot. He's a big reason we're here. Thanks, Mac. Thank you.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now not by Tim Vrzal, but by Tim Verghese of Inside Nebraska. Tim, how are you this morning?
Hey, not too bad. How about y'all?
TV, what's up, buddy? Do I ask, are you a March Madness guy? I feel like the whole "how's the bracket" is not really good radio, but we don't do radio, so
so we can do whatever we want.
Do whatever we want. How's the bracket?
No, I'm definitely keeping up. Pay some attention to college basketball during the season, and then I'm in it in March. So yeah, I'm pretty locked in as much as I can be. But different things going on, and how the day goes. But yeah, I've been tuned in for games yesterday. I'll be tuned in all weekend.
Are you on the move? You're going to be traveling, considering we don't have you on video.
Somewhat, but also I'm in the process of moving apartments, and I am without Wi-Fi. So still figuring that out.
Did you want to move or did you have to move?
No, I wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, it was just the end of my lease, but yeah, I ended up moving just closer to downtown, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Oh, making the big bucks. Is Zach looking for anybody else he wants to work with him? I'd like to live downtown too, man. Hey, so as we get close, we're actually within a number of days in which I can count the hours, whatever 96 plus 24 is, but so I can't really count 120.
120.
Yeah, knock it off, all right? Just trying to process out loud. Yeah, Tim, I don't know if you know this. I got a partner that most days I'd rather choke than talk to, but somehow we make it work.
I'm from a part of the country that likes their math, so it's fine.
Wow. TV, as we get closer to spring, I give you all access, but you have to stay there. Who are you going to watch on day one of practice?
All access, I have to stay there.
You have to stay with that position group.
I'm going to, and this is cheating a little bit, but I'm going to the D-line edge group.
Oh, you want them all, huh? You just the front.
Yeah, just I want to see Philip Simpson working with guys on pass rush moves, and it's all the guys that are coming off the end, and Deshaun Williams and Minari, Willis McGahee, those guys. I think that's probably the room that has the most intrigue for me, just in terms of I just want to figure out where these guys are at this point in the spring.
If you could draw it up in a lab, where would Williams? What size would he be for you? Weight wise, he could go. He in Winari. What weight would he play at if you could put him together in the lab? Because he has a lot of range.
Yeah, I mean, for me, hypothetically, I mean, they say he's at 270 now. Like, ideally, I'd want him up to maybe 280, 285, but that's like pushing it. Even like 270, like I wanted him at 270 for this season. And the fact that he's already there, I'm very interested to see what they get him up to by the fall, or if they just keep him here. Because I think 270 is a pretty solid playing weight for him as a sophomore, considering what I think he'll be asked to do, which is primarily just rushing off the edge.
If weight was important to one or the other, is it McCullough or Nwaneri?
I think it's Nwaneri, because we've seen McCullough produce at his current weight. We've seen him be able to rush the passer at an effective level. I mean, for his long-term career, I think Deshaun's going to have to get up a little more, but at this point in college, I think he's fine where he's at.
So I'm glad you brought up kind of that edge group, Tim, because we've sort of been having this discussion all week about Nwaneri
2 weeks.
Yeah, for however long it's been, about kind of the fact that it seems like Nebraska fans are a little hesitant to get their hopes up for a guy that, I mean, just a year ago was a 5-star top 10 recruit in the country. Normally we'd be losing our minds over a guy like that coming to Nebraska. And it seems like people are a little hesitant. And so I'm curious, A, why you think that is, and B, if there's real reason for that hesitancy in your mind.
Answering the second part of that, yeah, I understand the hesitancy and I understand why it's there. I mean, part of it, to me, I just feel like, I mean, even talking to fans now, like, we're writing 27 recruits and stuff, and guys are like, we just kind of don't care because these guys will be gone in a year. So that's the whole thing. Part of the issue with the transfer portal is these fans can see kind of where these guys come from and what they've done previously, and a one-year transfer, even with the accolades in the background, there's going to be some concern there. I mean, you see what's happening, at A&M now. I was a big Micah Hudson fan coming out of high school. Like, I covered that kid since he was a sophomore in high school. I genuinely think there are times watching him in high school, I thought I was watching a Garrett Wilson clone. And he transferred out of Texas Tech after 1 year with barely any production, went to A&M, is already out of A&M, and no one's really sure what's going to happen with him because he's got to finish out the semester at A&M before he can transfer anywhere. And as of right now, no one really knows where he is. And so you're seeing other issues elsewhere with former 5-stars. And so I understand the hesitancy there. I'll say this about Edwinari. I think some of the issues at Missouri were there was no one really around to hold him accountable, and there was no one really around that he had built a good enough relationship with where he felt, okay, the juice is going to be worth the squeeze here. Like, what they're asking me to do is going to be worth it. It's very different at Nebraska because he built these relationships with the coaching staff, and on top of that, his high school head coach, who got the most out of him in high school, Jamar Mosey, is on staff as well, holding him accountable. He's got multiple people like Isaiah Mosey around to hold him accountable, multiple people from Missouri to hold him accountable. And then you've got Terry Braden, who, you know, I've said this multiple times. I think what Terry Braden and what the Chiefs did with Chris Jones over the last few years, specifically adjusting his role to come off the edge more and be more of a defensive end, I think that's exactly what the goal should be with Williams and Renari.
That's funny you bring up CJ because as his weight fluctuated and he grew, what they allowed him to do in being multiple changed as well, whether he was going to be interior, outside, the ability to move him. I could see that that analogy, I guess is the word, working with William, given his body type does have range.
Right. And the thing with him is at his size, you go watch his tape, the what had him highly ranked and all of that early on was he's got some natural bend and some natural just pass rush ability at that size that you don't find. Like this isn't a guy like, you know, we're talking about the draft currently. Everyone's talking about the draft and these edge rushers like, oh, we've got all these freaky testers, you know, like a Shamar Stewart and all these guys, but they don't have production or they don't know how to rush the passer. You don't really need to worry about that Williams and Renari. Like all the pass rush stuff is in there already. It's about like him getting the weight up, him, you know, kind of making a run and you know, kind of putting it all together. But the pass rush stuff is there naturally. You just need to see, you know, more effort, more consistency. And then as a run defender, you need to see that part of the game improve. And in my opinion, like with the physical tools he has, some of that can be taught, but you can't teach some of the natural bend and pass rush ability he has.
So you're uniquely situated to answer this question that we've been speculating about. We'll take Williams and Renari on one hand. We'll take Elijah Pritchett on the other hand. Which do you think a success story for Nebraska? And let's call that they each are productive and turn into a first-round draft pick. So that's a pretty high bar, I would say. Which one of those two, reaching that bar, pays the most dividends for Nebraska in either the transfer portal or high school recruiting?
I think Nebraska would get more credit for Pritchett if they were able to get the most out of him, just because there's film on tape of him not being good, you know, and there's film of him being inconsistent. And I mean, that Alabama film last year, I mean, there's some games where like, okay, you can kind of see the vision here. Then the games out there, it's like, oh, just burn this tape, like throw it all out. Like there's nothing good on here from him. Like that's just the reality of the situation. And so I think with Enrinari, like, you know, you listen to Deshaun McCullough say that's a guy that can be a future first-round pick. I mean, they've been saying this about Williams and Renari since, you know, he started putting weight on in high school. You know, I mean, he looks the part of a future first-rounder. Like, there's part of me that thinks, yeah, Nebraska could probably get a really productive player out of him and potentially a future first-round pick, but they might not get the credit because people will just naturally credit the natural physical gifts. You know, just be like, oh, well, good on Nebraska for getting him, but, you know, and, you know, they'll also dismiss it as, oh, Jamar Mosey was on staff. It's just because of Jamar Mosey. And, you know, all these different things. But I think Elijah Pritchett, that's like, oh, you went out and got somebody. You saw something no one else did because, you know, at this point he had a year of inconsistent tape. And you went out and you developed him. And also for Donovan Raiola, I mean, that's the reclamation project he needs to, like, stamp and get out there on the recruiting trail and be like, hey, Jackson Can't. Well, here's an example of us developing. Hey, Kenny Pepe, here's an example of us developing. Like that's something that would probably change the ceiling Donovan Raiola would have to recruit with as well.
Tim, so okay, that's day one, and Coach Rowe's like, man, Tim, you really know ball, man. I'm gonna bring you back for one more day. But you have to fill your content for a week with this one remaining time that I'm going to let you shoot your shot again. You're done with the edge rushers and the front. Who's the next group for the week of content?
If I need to fill out a week of content, I'm going to the DB room because there's so many names. I could get a week out of content of just like, okay, here are the guys to watch in 2025. Here are the guys that I think could make a jump in 26. And if you really want to, let's stash away some of these names for 2027.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a week's worth of content just naming the guys in the room.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, I think that's the room that will thin the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
That room will thin out the fastest. So, you know what I thought you might say, and it's not because of the volume, but I thought you might like the tight ends. That's a very interesting room, and I think they're a little overlooked.
Yeah. I mean, for me, part of it is with the spring is I don't know how much we're going to see of Mac. I don't know how much we're going to see of Carter. But like if we had those two guys in the room, that's a top choice for sure. Just because I mean I want to see where those guys are at. I want to see how they're developing. I want to see okay, how different are they using Mac Markway versus a Heinrich Harburg? How far along is Heinrich Harburg compared to Carter Nelson and vice versa. Like that room's really fast. And then there's Luke Lindemeyer in there. You have so many different names in there right now that really fast. I mean, like I'm still fascinated by what Eric Ingerson could be.
Yeah, me too. A guy that doesn't need a babysitter, and he's a big, strong, mean kid. Like he gets it, and I think we've kind of forgotten about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you think about who got promoted or who saw the field more once Dana Holgerson took over. It was guys that, like you said, don't need a babysitter, can take care of themselves, can block, can go out there and do things. I mean, we talk about Ingerson as a potential position change candidate down the line as a guy that could potentially move into offensive line or whatever. But you like the blocking ability already at tight end. Like, again, what if there's a world where I can see. I just don't think we're talking about him enough in that tight end room.
Yeah.
So it's funny you bring Ingerson up because I've been thinking a lot about him in relation to the Nate Borkature departure as well, and that's a guy, at least body type wise,
he's kind of one in that room. Yeah, he's significantly bigger than Lindemeyer. He's more of an inline guy than a guy like Carter Nelson if he came back to tight end.
Yeah,
he's the most natural of the combo guys in terms of his frame.
But he sort of seems like he almost did sort of, I don't want to say push out, but like his body type sort of replaces the Borkature body type, right? Because Borkature was the one of one in that room before. And I just wonder how much the one had to do with the other, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was as much that. I mean, like the Borkature thing is yeah, I mean, the numbers I've heard that he was getting, like he kind of had to enter the portal,
and he wanted tape. He I think he just to secure kind of not secure, but to be in a better spot to get paid to play. I think he wanted opportunity after opportunity, so I think he went where he could play the most.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, you would think so, but also again, you look at that A&M tight end room, and you're like, are you sure? I don't know. I'm very interested to see how this fall goes for him.
Tim, as we kind of think about spring football here, I wonder how you feel today about a guy like Mac Markway, because I know we're not going to see him in the spring. But speaking of guys that we sort of haven't talked about a lot, and I understand it more with Markway than I do with Nwaneri because of how he showed up here. But is that a guy that you think, in terms of how he'll be impactful in the fall, we should probably be talking about more?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think if you're hesitant about Markway, I think you should go back and watch what he did at LSU. This isn't a guy that was unproductive at LSU and then bounced after, like just being frustrated by a room that was more talented than him. This is a guy that produced as a freshman, did all the right things, and by all accounts, you talk to people down there, like he's a good competitor. He worked hard. He did all the right things, answered all the the question, saw the field, and was a very sound tight end. But what LSU's offense is doing and what you're seeing them doing is a completely different thing with their tight ends. They brought in 2 6'6", 6'7" tight ends, and just have those guys out there now. And so like they had Mason Taylor at the top of the room. Like they just asked for a different thing out of the tight ends. And so Markley just wasn't a fit in that room anymore. But you look at what he could do in Nebraska, and you look at the room at Nebraska, where you got Heinrich Harburg at the top, a big body, big athletic body that can do some things, but you're not really sure how many things he can do yet. You don't know if you can trust him to block just yet. You don't know all of those things. Then you've got Lindemeyer, who's a good blocker and can do enough in space, but you don't really know how much. Then you've got Carter Nelson, who's complete unknown for the most part, just because it's a position change. You got to figure out the blocking. You got to figure out these things. Markway at the very floor from what we saw at LSU, is a good blocker, can line up in line, can line up in space, can do more than enough in space as a pass catcher, can do some of those shallow routes and turn upfield and run. And when you're running, like multiple tight ends on the field and you're going heavy, he doesn't have to be taken off the field for another tight end. You can line him up right inside with those other guys. I think at the very highest floor, he's Nebraska's safest and most, I guess outside of Lindenmeyer, most reliable tight end. Just because I think Lindenmeyer is that at this point, is the most reliable as a blocker and a pass catcher. But I mean, Markway's right there, and that's why I just think he's a safe pick, very high floor, high enough ceiling that there's still some untapped potential in there. Yeah, he's a guy that I think is going to play a good bit this fall.
So, okay, so we went DBs and we went defense, like kind of defensive line, kind of by design of where your interest lies for the spring, that none of the offense kind of cracked or piqued your interest if you only got a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm interested by how the offensive line figures itself out, but there's so much unknown there, and two, with the injuries, I just don't think we're going to get a clear enough picture of that line this spring. I think that's going to be like figuring out the tackle spots and figuring out where to slot like Henry Lutovsky in. It's something that's going to have, and Gunnar Gatula in. It's something I think is going to have to wait for fall camp. And so that's why like offensive line is something for me that I'm just waiting till fall. And then the receiver room, like I'm very intrigued by that room, but weirdly I'm comfortable with that room. Like I know Dane Key's wide receiver one. I know Isaiah Hunter's coming in with some production, and I know he's going to play something of a role. We know what Corey Barney is. We know, multiple people, staff members and talking to sources and everyone talks about Hartley Gilmore at this point. You figure that guy's going to contribute. And then, yeah, you're intrigued by the room behind him. Where's Cortez? How far along is Cortez Mills? We've heard he's pretty far along. Where's Isaiah Mosey? Where are some of these guys behind them? But I feel like I'm comfortable with the receiver room enough to I don't think it's going to be an issue, and I don't think it's not that it's not intriguing, but I know what I'm going to get from them, I feel like.
Are you surprised at all that Hartley Gilmore's kind of gotten as much run as he has, considering he doesn't have the production of a Hunter or a Key?
I think it's gonna be tough.
You look at the film. Yeah, it's just he's a guy, man. I like the high school film, and then you take into account that the most recent high school film, he's playing at 15 or 16 years old because he reclassified. So he's going to be 18, going through spring ball. I just think it's kind of a thing where he's just grown up now, and so you like the flashes you've seen, and now it's an adult making moves and doing those things. So I'm very fascinated by Gilmore, and I think he's going to be a household name. I don't even think it's going to take till the quote unquote spring game. I think a couple weeks into spring, everyone's going to be talking about Hartley Gilmore.
It's going to be interesting because I think the thing, and maybe it's not. Well, it could be a Gilmore thing, or just the new guys in general. I think the greatest hurdle for this group coming in will be the rigor, because even guys that have been there, like year 1 to year 2 mat drills, or team commitment week, or what's going to be asked of these guys from a caloric intake to your nutrition to your treatment to your rest to the ability to repeat something all the time at a certain level. I think rigor will be something that will be the great separator for ultimately a very competitive football team. Just the ability to repeat and do what you're told to do every single day. Because if what the coaching staff has been saying all off season about just play football and, close losses are just, we're not good enough and don't believe the hype and just get better at football and don't be a slogan team. And I just get the sense that's what's being emphasized every day with these guys since they've been on campus. I think rigor will be the great separator, not so much talent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be all about that. And I'll probably get out of here with a little nugget here. So
I like nuggets.
When I was in the All-American Bowl, and I was kind of like trying to learn about Hurrdat Gilmore and figure it out. I was talking to some people familiar with South Florida. So there's a training or essentially an academy called True Prep Academy in South Florida, where a bunch of these guys down there essentially go and they take care of their academics there. But you know how it is, like in South Florida specifically, for those unfamiliar, a lot of guys end up bouncing around multiple high schools and playing with the best high schools. So they do their schooling all at True Prep Academy. So at one point in middle school and early high school, Hurrdat Gilmore, Cortez Mills, and Ja'Cory Barney were all like True Prep Academy classmates. And they were training together off the field, even though they were all at different high schools. They've been training together. So, two of them, Gilmore or Cortez and Barney specifically, grew up together. But the three have known each other for a very long time. There's a natural competitiveness there, and we talked so much in the fall and spring about how Ja'Cory Barney elevates the competitiveness in the room. What if there's three guys competing at the same level and they all are competing against each other and they've known each other for years? That's going to elevate the whole room, the competitiveness between that whole room. I think those three guys are going to bring out the best, not just in each other, but they're going to push Dane Key. They're going to push Isaiah Hunter. When Demetrius Bell gets back, they're going to push him. Like, it's going to be good for the room that those three are in there competing against each other and competing against the rest of the room.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese.
Not bad, TV, man. I look forward to this segment every week. That's not going to get much more comprehensive, man. Well done.
And we'll try and get your name right next week.
Yeah. And I'll try to open with something different than how's your bracket.
All right, listen, we're getting spring ball viewing next week, so we'll have plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, no question. Good talk, bud. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Talk next week.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, inside Nebraska. I want to ask you a question about what he said about the competitiveness in the wide receiver room.
Okay.
What? We're going Lil John on us here this morning on a Friday. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. We will be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
We've got some exciting news here to elevate your March to the next level. Introducing Menu Madness here at Hurrdat Sports. This isn't just any tournament. This is a bracket featuring 16 of our most popular food items, and you decide the winner each week when your favorite items go head-to-head. And here's the best part. When you vote, you're automatically signed up for our free loyalty program.
So what are you waiting for? Head over to Hurrdat Sports Bar to watch your favorite team, the biggest games, and get those votes in for your favorite menu item today.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Tomorrow, you need to be out at the Omaha Supernovas. I don't generally need a little break from basketball this weekend, but if you do, get to supernovas.com. Go watch your Omaha Supernovas as they return home for their match tomorrow at the CHI Health Center. Supernovas.com for tickets. DB.
Yes, sir.
I thought Tim brought up an interesting thing about the competitiveness in the wide receiver room.
No, I have to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
That's so foul. That's not even being a good team player. Man, I'm disappointed in myself.
It's all right. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tag myself back in.
Go ahead. Tag in.
I should have been a good partner.
That's okay.
I just was captivated by that year-end video.
The recap?
The yearbook video.
Yeah.
And I'm not just honking for Hurrdat, but
yeah.
I love the music.
Mm-hmm.
I like the videos, and I forgot how much stuff we did.
That is the kind of thing, because sometimes in our job, we sort of forget. We don't always see what everybody else is doing.
But you know how, like, I'm kind of hip to it, what really brought it to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't give him up, but we were, because he's not a competitor, but whatever. We were leaving Greg Sharp's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of the guys in our industry were kind of together, and this particular individual came over to me, and he's like, I'm really proud of you. I've been, whatever, following this, that, and the other. He said, man, Hurrdat, he said, they're impressive. He said, you guys are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really in the mood for much convo, so I think I just kind of tried to button it up, and I didn't expound much.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those I should go back and get if I was not on my A game. You go back and reflect, and it was like, I probably could have been better. But
situationally, that's a tough spot.
So then I go back and I watch this, and I'm like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to Rico yesterday, talk about the stuff that we're doing in between breaks and the build-outs and just the little creative stuff. And, he's a track guy and wants to get in the – I'm like, we got a chance, man.
Yeah. We've got a versatile group of talented
That is
people.
a talented video.
Yeah. Well, and
that looks like, that's some chasing 3 type stuff.
Oh, 100%. Like there's – and not to just toot our own horn here, but like the video work, and we have a ton of talented people in all the departments, right? But the video work we do is second to none. I'll put it up against anybody.
Do you like how I just walked over into the corner where all you guys were congregating and immediately everybody got dumber? I was like, yeah, I don't really belong over here.
Dude, I feel that every day if I'm like trying to do something on my computer or social media or anything like that.
I mean, immediately got dumber.
I'm like, guys, I know I work for a social media and digital marketing company, but I need a little help with my tweets. Yeah.
Who are you telling?
I know. But it's like, you always look to me.
I get walked through the downloads. Do I need a script? Am I good? We can I'm like, I'm not that special. I can figure it out. I just need a little guidance.
Need a little help. Well, I was doing, I did a couple of recap videos in football season, like kind of post-game thoughts or whatever. Yeah. And Sasha's like, okay, yeah, just throw our sponsor bug on there. And I was like, Sasha.
Yeah.
I don't know how to throw a sponsor bug
she
on
talks
there.
To me like that all the time. And I just want to look at her, but I nod.
I'm just like, Sasha.
I nod.
Sasha, can you throw the bug on there for me?
Well, did you see me in the meetings when we were talking about just going all digital on the platform, and we were talking about the different I was like, no, I promise you guys, I care. I just don't know what you're talking about. No, but go ahead, because of all the guys we talked about in the tight end room, can I just say this real quick?
Yeah,
or do you want to do?
No, go ahead.
With the wide receivers.
Go ahead. We got all day.
The most dynamic of the bunch, proven.
Mm-hmm.
We even bring up
who?
Parberg.
Yeah. I think
we didn't even talk about a top 6-7 athlete on the team. Talking about that room, the tight end room interests me greatly.
So I'm a little hesitant on Harburg because
that's unfortunate.
Well, I just don't know what to expect.
I'm just playing.
I just don't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if to expect a true tight end. I don't know if they're going to use him sort of in a H-back Kyle Juszczyk role where they're moving him around from backfield to H-back to inline tight end to split out wide. Like, I don't know what to expect from him.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time getting excited about, like, the athleticism and everything, sure. But I also know how hard what he's trying to do is in terms of, hey, I've been a quarterback. Oh, by the way, I was 5-2 as a starter. I'm a quarterback. To, oh, I'm a tight end now. And I was super impressed by what he did in the bowl game in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I was super impressed how fast he got better at quarterback too. So there's a level of confidence there that he's a smart guy and he's going to figure it out. But I just don't know what to expect, so I have a harder time with him. You know what I mean? Like, a little bit the same way with McCullough. I don't totally know what to expect on how they want to use him. Like, right now, he's working with the Jacks, right? Would I be shocked if he ends up doing something a little different over the course of the season? I don't really know what to expect from him.
Yeah. When you look at – so they have a couple of those long body guys, right, with Javen and –
like the super long arms, the wingspan, yeah.
And I'm amazed sometimes that Buddha can play inside.
Because of his build, like in the way, yeah.
But he's come from playing on the third level where he's used to having things happen to his left or to his right. Because we undersell that.
Yeah. Well, I do think there's a huge...
We totally undersell being even-handed as a defensive
player. It's not something that I've ever even thought about, I don't think.
Going from inside to a side.
Like most guys have a preference?
Yeah.
That makes sense, but I've never thought about it.
Right. It's it's why guards can't just naturally play tackle.
Sure.
It's like
although that feels a little different because
it's closer, but it's the same premise. Right? If I'm an inside guy, if I'm an inside backer, and a 3-front, and there's 2 insides, 2 outsides. Things can happen to my left, to my right, and they can be downhill. It's not going to sneak up on you on an edge or a side
because it's coming to your side.
Because it's coming to
or
you.
It's not.
Yeah,
yeah. You're either chasing it across the field.
It's different,
or it's coming right at you.
It's vastly different.
The reason I didn't think of tackle versus guard is because I would kind of imagine if you're an inside linebacker and you're comfortable going both ways, to me, that feels more like a running back that's comfortable running to either side.
Yeah.
As opposed to, because like a tackle and a guard feels more like an outside linebacker versus an inside linebacker.
Well, some guys are used to having guys to their left and to their right.
Yeah.
Some guys aren't.
They kind of like having the almost insulation of a.
It was just crazy to talk about the tight end room and
Harburg barely came up.
Yeah.
I think Tim mentioned him in passing, but wasn't really sure what to expect from him.
Well, we started with Markway and Ingerson.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I have this theory. I don't know if it's right, but I think part of the reason Borkacher went to go look for playing time, I think Ingerson kind of like market corrected his position.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know.
That's how I feel. I don't know anything.
Yeah, but
if you look at body type, age,
that
potential
has to be
for development,
a very hyper-competitive room because your most competitive person is a guy that gets a ton of work in Harburg. You have to match that energy.
Yeah, being as competitive.
There'll be no brother-in-lawing at that practice, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen Lindemeyer's development. He's he's a really good inline blocker now.
Yeah. Well, that guy's a walk-on. He's going to stay. Was a walk-on. Like he's going to stay on it. Those guys don't lose that edge.
That room is quietly and they got sad.
Yeah,
he's demanding.
We'll get back to this conversation about the competitiveness in both that room and the wide receiver room. But coming up next, we're going to talk to Zach Peerless. He's from CBS Sports. Get a little national overview of the first day of the NCAA tournament here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We will be back. We'll be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Lewis and Wiltshire. It's a fadeaway 15-footer. You're doing your job. And then on the other end, the offense now is looking a little bit crispy. And there he goes. We got a ball game now. A guy with a three. And it's down to three. The trains are here. Jemiah Neal pushing. McAndrew steps into a three. Timeout Global. Grady has an answer. Jemiah Neal pushing. McAndrew steps into a three. Timeout Global.
Wrapping up hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Zach Peerless from CBS Sports covering college hoops. Zach, what's going on, man?
Hey, I am doing great. Like, how many things in life can you do for 12 straight hours one day and can't wait to do it again the next?
Yeah, Zach, full disclosure, and I'm notorious here locally for having super, piss poor sleeping habits. To come down off the emotion of yesterday, I watched episode 7 of Reacher at 1:30 in the morning, knowing good and well I was going to do this again starting at 6 a.m. So Reacher episode 7 was my come down of 12 hours of basketball yesterday. That's how my mind is wired. And I started off, and you'll be good to ask just from a national perspective with no homer tendencies, much like ourselves. You look back and you recap. Who had the best coaching performance, in your opinion, given how the outcomes of the games played out?
Oh, wow. I love that question. I think that I have to think about, there were so many really good performances. Let me get that out of the way first. Will Wade and McNeese, like, this is a guy who his players know that he's leaving, and they still played their hearts out for him and had an incredible game plan. It was, I know that the game ended up, McNeese only won by 2, but they were up by 20 plus. And, if this had been a boxing match, it would have been called off in the 5th round. Like, this was a dominant performance. It really looked like, sometimes it looks like when you get to this time in March, sometimes you get all these popular upset picks and they just don't really have it athletically or size-wise, or there's just a difference in overall skill level. McNeese was the team that looked like they were just like the bullies on the playground, dominating the glass, like throwing down ridiculous dunks. They're up like, I think they were up one or two possessions late, and they have guys throwing down reverse dunks on fast breaks. Like, this team came in, they were not afraid. They were not worried that Will Wade, has essentially admitted that he's taking the NC State job. And they really dominated a really good Clemson team.
So, Zach, it kind of two things on Will Wade and McNeese State here real quick. Number one, it kind of reminded me what you're talking about there, sort of the confidence, almost overconfidence, but just looking like the better team. I'm not sure I've seen that in an upset to that degree, especially in a game that was still or got relatively close since we were looking at Florida Gulf Coast and Georgetown, where it's just like, oh, that team's just better.
Yeah, no, I think like one of the things that impressed me the most, a lot of times when you see these upsets, like you think, oh, maybe it's, one guy leading the way. McNeese had more points off its bench than it did from its starters. Like, this is a really, really talented team, deep, physical, like, Will Wade, just like, what a job assembling his team, making sure his team, a lot of guys would, just kind of pass off the have you talked to NC State as, we're focused on this season. I think that he understands that his guys understand the business and the fact that he is leaving. So the fact that he had them so well prepared and, like, you can tell that they love playing for him. He really loves this team. Just because he is going to be leaving at some point in the next month doesn't mean that changes. Like, he is really dedicated to this team. His team is really dedicated to him, and it's a really good team.
So, Zach, one last thing here. Part of me wonders, because I totally miscalculated this McNeese team with the talk and, I guess, confirmation of the NC State job with Will Wade. But part of me wonders if, since it's become more of a business for the players, like, how many of those guys are playing for a spot to go to NC State?
That's what he told them.
Like,
he's like, hey, whoever plays the best can come with me. I mean, that's a relationship with your players.
Like, it's become a business for the players too. Like, I totally miscalculated that.
Yeah, no, I did as well. Like, I and that's the other thing. Like, McNeese has obviously gotten a lot better under Will Wade. The guy is an incredible, incredible coach. And you're right. Like, this wasn't even his best team at McNeese. They still just, like, you're right. The players, they're looking for their future too. I sometimes think about now at this point in college basketball, like, you would always hear in the NFL, like, everyone sees everything. Like, you want to put every good rep on film. And that's true in college basketball too. Now, I think that they're still playing for their team first and foremost, but you're absolutely right. Like, every single opportunity you get to impress someone, you should take advantage of it because there is so much player movement now.
All right, let me ask you. So I think two of the other top candidates, and of the show, I'm probably the resident ACC honk because I cheer for Carolina, and it's the conference I think I kind of watch the most, not named the Big East or SEC. So I'm going to give you two candidates because I thought what Coach Mack did, and we said yesterday, and we're obviously close to Creighton here, and his ability, his scout, and his preparation, I think, are bar none. I've said since he's been in the Big East, if you only see them once, he advantage him, right? He's turned his staff over. He's the constant. But another one, and what they did to Louisville yesterday, especially early, even though shots weren't going down, they got the offense they wanted. Louisville was flustered defensively. I thought he was fantastic. But I also think Coach Cal and what he did with reintegrating Boogie Flan, they had played better without him. I know Kansas is a turnover machine, and some of that just goes with the territory, but I thought he managed the game late as well. If I give you the next handful of coaching performances, do either of those two make the cut?
Yeah, I think those are both really good calls. Greg McDermott, like you mentioned, like, the guy is so darn good, and I think his team really matched up very, very well, and it's because of Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like, Louisville's a team that wants to get to the basket and shoot threes. Those are the two things they want to do. Well, Ryan Kalkbrenner, because of that drop coverage, makes you shoot a lot of mid-range shots. You could tell there were a lot of times where Chucky Hepburn was a little, sort of just unsure what to do. And it's really hard to prepare for this sort of Creighton team, like you mentioned, in a one-off game. Like, they are just so well coached. I mean, Ryan Kalkbrenner, like, I can't speak enough about the guy. And then obviously Jemiah Neal, like, just tough shots over and over and over again. This was not,
just a heater.
Yeah, like this is not like 29 points on a bunch of layups and open threes. Like these are like tough mid-range shots, and they're the shots that Louisville didn't feel comfortable taking too. Like that's what was so impressive to me. And I think that you also have to throw Ben McCollum from Drake in there. Just like that team is so good. You don't win. I think they're now up to 31 games by accident, no matter what level you're playing at. Like that team was awesome. And to me, I thought a pretty easy 11-6 upset there.
So, you know what's interesting? I wanted to give him credit. We talk about him all the time just because we're familiar with his prowess and his background. And he's kind of in our backyard. But you know what? Why I kind of looked at that and didn't put him in the other category is because Missouri defensively has been bad all year. And for a coach that gets a ton of running, and listen, he's done a heck of a job. I'm not going to poo-poo that. You let an efficient offensive team like that just kind of do what they do in a game in which they can control the pace. That just seemed kind of just natural for what Drake does. It was just Missouri was a bad matchup. I thought when I picked Missouri, I thought, well, they could probably just score enough to win. But they're just not good enough defensively.
Yeah. No, I agree there. And that's why I did take Drake. I thought the biggest thing for Ben McCollum was when Missouri made that run in the second half, he got his guys back together. And, you know, he's a former D2 guy. Obviously, Bennett Sturt's former D2 guy. Like, this is the biggest stage. And he got them back together. So that's really more, maybe it's not so much exactly what he game planned for, but in the game, just the ability to get the guys together again and finish that game really, really strong after Missouri had cut it down. I think it was 52-50, and to finish 67-57 is really impressive.
Zach, as you look at the slate today, I'm having a hard time finding a ton of upsets that I like. Is there any double-digit seeds speaking to you today?
Yeah, I am all over Colorado State.
Oh, man.
Everybody That's a popular one.
I was going to say it's a popular one. I really like Memphis. Like, this is a good team, but they are hurt. Tyrese Hunter not playing, like, that is a big, big deal.
Yeah.
And Nick Clifford, like, is one of the best players the country doesn't know about.
Spot on.
And I think
how about their offensive sets?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they put him in such good opportunities to show off his vast skill set. They have guard play. They're going to have issues with Dane Danger down low, but everybody does. I really, really think Colorado State. I'm a big like analytics, advanced stats person, and when you see good numbers from teams like that, that makes me like them even more. But if you want me to move off one, and I'm sure that the second one that a lot of people like is North Carolina, Ole Miss. How about a late night game? Give me Xavier over Illinois.
That's my the Carolina fan. I'm with you, but the most intriguing matchup for me is Xavier and Illinois, because Xavier punishes you if Illinois turns it over, but when Illinois is humming, they can be a machine.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I always worry about inexperienced guards in March. And while Illinois obviously has Kylan Boswell, Kasparis, Jakusionis, like that's I love his game. I think he's a really good player. I just don't always trust these teams that score a ton, in March. And I think Xavier just has enough like big grown men to match him.
Zach, I want to go outside the NCAA tournament here for a second. There's some interesting jobs open on the market already. Obviously, Texas is the biggest fish out there now, but Villanova, Minnesota, Iowa. Which jobs are you kind of the most intrigued by being open?
Yeah, Villanova stands out just because they were so determined to stay in-house after Jay Wright. And this is a team that should be loaded NIL-wise, like plenty of resources. They had no issue bringing in really good transfer portal, classes. I'm really intrigued there. Like, what's the approach? And after so much sustained success, like what's going on there? And then just down the Eastern Seaboard a little bit, Virginia is still open.
Yeah.
That is a team. I still think this is, we talked about the ACC's downfall a little bit and kind of touched on some of the struggles there. The middle tier of that conference just completely falling off and not even making the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, Virginia hasn't won a tournament game since it won the title in 2019. So that's one to me, like, the resources are there. Obviously, really strong track record. That I could see that being an enticing opening, and one that, like, if you're looking at the ACC trying to get sort of back on track, Will Wade being at NC State, and then, like, you need Virginia to hit. You need Florida State and Miami, who have already made hires, to hit, because, 5-10 years ago, those were national contenders. Those were top 25 teams. Now they're not even, they're barely in the top 15 in their own conference.
Let me ask you something, Zach. And well, there's two things I want to get to because that's a heck of a segue. So you've got, but let's just talk kind of hot names. You got Huss at High Point. You got Nico at CSU. McCollum is always going to come up. NIL not being an issue, how would you slot those three guys, knowing they're they can be patient or they can pounce if they want to. They're going to be highly sought after at some point. How would you slot them?
Hush, McCollum, and who's the third?
Nico Medved.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a tough one. You're putting me on the spot here. I really am impressed by what Ben McCollum's done. I just like everything about him. I think he has a really good demeanor. And NIL being even, resources being even, it's hard for me to go. Nico Medved's been so good, though. Oh, man. Can I give you 1A, 1B?
Yeah.
I think that those two guys, and then Huss from High Point, they play a really fun, entertaining brand of basketball. I just don't think I'm quite there with him, and that's because you're talking about like valedictorian and salutatorian of the class. So being number 3 certainly isn't meant as an insult.
All right, let me give you a couple of things here. This is totally my personality, so full disclosure. I loved Florida in January. I said they beat Carolina, and I knew they were going to get healthy, and I told my partner, I said, we probably had to take a flyer on Florida. They weren't even really Florida yet. As the season's gone on, everybody loves Florida. So, of course, I didn't pick them to win the tournament. I took Houston because it's not as appealing to me anymore. Bad move, or and I need to mature, or how do you look at Florida as a team that a lot of people think will cut down the nets?
Yeah, so I took Florida, so I don't want to tell you it's a bad move, but I will say, that is my pick still. I just think at the end of the day, Florida does everything that every other team in the country does, but they also can overwhelm you in a certain aspect.
Well, they have more options to do it.
Yeah, right. And I think that's why it's so overwhelming is you're like, all right, we stop the fast break. Boom, you have one of the best offensive rebounding teams. All right, one of their guys is in foul trouble. They'll just bring in another guy whose skill set is a little different, but also the same. So you think about, their big guys.
Interchangeable, versatile.
Right, but they all bring the same basic stuff. That's why I stuck with them. Just when I watch them play, it can be a different guy every night, and you still have guard play is so important. Walter Clayton Jr., one of my favorite guards.
Smooth operator.
Just fills it up in a hurry. All of a sudden, he has 8 points at half, and all of a sudden he has 20, 5 minutes into the second half. Yeah. So I'm still on them, but I have them playing Houston in my final. Houston I love because there are 3 things that they have. They have guards who are awesome. They shoot the 3, and they are tough defensively, and those last two especially. Like, if you defend and you nail threes, that just creates such a hard math problem for opponents. So Houston, I certainly don't hate as your pick, but I stuck with Florida.
Fair or foul to not have Duke in the Final Four?
To me, that's a little foul, but I can see the reasoning why. And I think that they're going to get – a lot of people looked at their path and said, oh, this is an easy path for them. I think that they will get some challenges, maybe not this weekend, but certainly starting next weekend. If they get either Oregon or Arizona, like there's challenge number one for them. Yeah. So I say a tiny bit foul, but maybe the chalk dusted up on the foul ball line.
For me, it boiled down. Why I took Bama is I know Bama is not very good defensively. You're more apt to score 85 than you are 65. I get it. But when I look at Duke offensively, I'm like, that's just not really how they're built, nor how they want to play. So even if off the bounce, and I don't love Sears, and dribble drive is kind of like a sieve, they would give Duke fits with as good as Duke is defensively with the way they play. So I'm like, you know what? They've played better competition. I think it's a good matchup. I advantage Bama in the backcourt. That was kind of the deciding factor to me. Is it too simplistic or no?
No, I think that's totally fair. And also Bama's a team that's had its ups and downs, and people look at their downs. They play, like you mentioned, in the SEC. Like, losing 3 games in a row is like losing 3 games, would be like losing a Sweet 16 game, an Elite 8 game, and a Final Four game.
That's the same question that pissed Bruce Pearl off. Remember that? He's like, wait, right. who'd we lose to again?
Right. Like, everybody loses. They've got to lose to someone. So I definitely like that. I certainly don't think that that's an unreasonable spot there. And I have stuck on Alabama all year, even with some of those losses, just because, Sears has done it before. He's had, when they were really struggling this year, and struggling again, it's such a relative term, he was the guy who pulled them out of it. And yeah, you can just get in one of these high-flying, high-scoring games where Alabama hits 14, 15 threes, and that's how you win. And that's why I really like Alabama for a bit, not just this year, but in past years, is because I agree so fundamentally with how they play in terms of taking threes and shots at the rim. My thing is, I just think Duke is a little bit better, or not even a little bit. I think they're significantly better defensively, and they do such a good job generating open looks on offense that I could see Duke hanging 100 and Alabama having a great offensive game and scoring 85.
That is Zach Peerless. Don't call me Price.
That's pretty good.
From CBS
Always
Sports.
Good, Z.
Appreciate the time. That was great stuff.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Zach.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
A first-round victory for the Creighton Blue Jays. Coach, that's a 5th straight for this team in an NCAA tournament, having a win. What does that say just about the culture of this program in March?
Says Ryan Kalkbrenner's pretty good. He's been a part of all 5 of them. But no, I'm proud that we've been able to maintain that culture and sustain it during a time where it's really difficult, where you're constantly building a new team every year. Sometimes what get lost in that is how do you build a program at the same time and maintain the culture. And we've been able to do that because of the leadership in our program. Starts with Kalk, and obviously Stephen has been terrific since he walked on campus.
After that St. John's game, I don't think you thought you'd face another home crowd, quote unquote, but how did you guys stay together and kind of flush that away?
Yeah, when the selection show happened, I think we were disappointed. My staff had prepared for 9 teams that we thought were kind of in our wheelhouse, and Louisville didn't make that list because we thought their seed line was going to be much higher. So we had to go to work Sunday night. But once you figure out who you're playing, you forget about whether you got a good draw or a bad draw. If you want to advance, you got to figure it out. So I really believe that our experience Friday night and Saturday night in New York prepares you for what happened today. Like, not many teams have to play a road game like that in the NCAA tournament, and we figured out a way to get it done. Was
that one of the best games you've ever executed on offense, you would say, in terms of game plan?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some good ones, but the defensive execution was really good as well. We didn't want Chucky to be a scorer and a passer. We felt like we wanted to put him in positions where he's going to take a lot of 2-point shots or tough threes, but he's so dangerous with the pass. We didn't want to step up off guys and let him kill us with that as well. So we beat a heck of a basketball team, and I'm really excited and proud of my team.
Yeah, how about Jemiah Neal? A career night for him, a one-year transfer guy that came to this program to be in your system.
Yeah, he's grown so much, and it's been fun to be part of. It's hard to come in to a system that's new and you're not accustomed to, and my expectations and how we play are different than where he came from. But to his credit, he's bought in, and he's really connected with this group of guys. I think he trusts them, and then as time has gone on, they've developed a huge trust in him as well. So it was good to see him shine today because he's done a lot. He's a big reason we're here.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I feel validated.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union, where we're just doing a little bit of math and chemistry here off air in the studio at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Really appreciate everybody that was able to make it out here yesterday. Had a great time.
It's an unbelievable crowd.
Oh, huge crowd. Great time hanging out with everybody.
I know the kitchen staff appreciated it.
Oh, yeah. And I'm surprised you didn't get back there. I thought you were going to start cooking at some point.
Did you see how close I got?
Oh, you went in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You went in the kitchen.
I did.
Don't forget, though, it is Friday. Got
It's
that fish.
Friday.
Got to get fish and chips on Friday.
Yeah.
Somebody from the staff actually asked about you.
Oh, yeah?
After the show.
What did they say?
They were just saying, they thought it was going to be a busy day, and I thought maybe DB could get back there and help you out. And they're like, yeah, bring him back.
If they would let me, I bust a few tables and
you
dropped off a few drinks.
You did. You were.
It keeps me being a moving target.
I'll say that's why you do it.
I hate how you blew my cover.
On what?
Because you're like, well, I think you like to work, so people can't talk to you. And I was like, don't tell.
I did that off air by ourselves. You just blew your own cover.
Post-game show is brought to you by
Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
I did that off air. Make sure you come in and get the fish and chips here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. You can still get the Reuben as well. And we won't be here hanging out, but you can still come hang out and watch the full day of games here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up?
That's just really disappointing.
In yourself?
Well, I blamed you for blowing my cover.
Yeah, and
I get them all. Okay.
The show on air and off air is almost identical.
And we're going to stop talking. That way I can keep it.
You can keep it straight. Which one's which?
It's like, is it Alan or Robert Thicke? Who sang the blurred lines?
That's Robin.
We got that.
Alan's the talk show host.
I get our text I get them all mixed.
He was.
I know.
It's all screwed up. Oh, yeah. Was I talking to Matt? Was that Jacob? All right. So I'm going back to normal. I just don't talk to anybody.
Just not talking to anybody?
No.
That's all right.
By the way, I got to check on Omaha Ryan. I have not heard from him in like 2 days.
Which one's Omaha Ryan?
Peters.
Oh, I'm going to his house today. You want to come hang out?
Good morning again.
Ain't that about something?
Surprise, surprise.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I barely talked to this dude all week. You're going there today?
Yeah. I'm going to watch games after the show. I assumed he invited you.
I haven't even talked to him. I'd like to pretend and say, oh, yeah, I turned it down. I was busy.
RP, listen, me and T-Mose have a great time. RP, text our guy.
Wow.
That's all right. You're over there talking to Evan more than I do.
It's cool. I'm good.
You need a little pat on the back? You need a little love?
No, man. Don't touch me. It's fine. Wow. Really? That's what we're on, huh, Ryan? Okay.
My bad. I didn't mean to blow up his spot.
I'm gonna say.
I just assumed he invited you.
Yeah, okay.
That's my bad.
Yeah. Fine.
You gonna be okay?
I'm good.
You seem very hurt right now.
No. Nope. Just checking the scores. I'm getting different scores.
We got BYU, VCU, 80-71.
I told you they got pros, don't they?
They do. They're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Are you comfortable talking to my back? 'Cause it's kind of what I feel like doing.
It's fine. We'll keep it pressing.
Back in the day.
Wow.
I did have some questions for you from our Tim Verghese conversation.
Okay.
Pressing.
I'm gonna grow up.
Hey, competitive stamina, DB.
Wow, that dude is out. Out. Anyway, what were your questions that you've been holding on to for
I have
40 minutes?
Been holding on
about the wide receiver room and competitive stamina.
Hold on for one more day.
Listen, I can't even let it go.
Wilson Phillips.
I'm texting him. I'm like, really?
That's my bad. I might have gotten him in trouble.
Really?
That's my bad.
It's fine.
I thought you were like genuinely concerned about him, so I was trying to.
I was, but not anymore.
I was trying to assuage those concerns.
I just hit him with really. He's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I don't know if he's listening yet today.
It's fine.
No,
probably preparing good food that I'm not invited to eat.
I don't think you'd like what he's cooking. Probably.
What is he making? Manwiches? Like, what is he making? Pigs in a blanket?
It's all vegetable. No, I think he said he was gonna do nacho bar. That's not really your vibe, though.
And you get a good meal. What if I just wanted the goddamn camaraderie? You're not about to get me started. I told myself I'm going to control my emotions today. That's where I'm going after the show.
Hey, lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it up.
That is tough.
Lock it up. Lock it in. Let me
Here
begin.
I am concerned about it. That's cool.
How's Evan doing? He's doing all right?
Yeah, we talked wrestling last night.
I think
you jealous?
I think you talked to him more than I do.
That's fine. Don't try to even it out. No, it's not what we're doing.
All right. So Tim was talking about wide receivers and tight ends. We were talking more tight ends than he was.
Yeah.
And I'm curious.
I think I need to clean.
Like Benjamin Button.
Hey, at least your friend Evan named his bracket after you.
He did.
Robbie's
he goes
friend
Robbie's buddy Evan if it is his bracket in our group.
For the record, I don't feel any better. So you can keep this up if you want to. It's fine.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you.
Me neither, apparently.
I'm trying to get to my question about Tim. So he's bringing up the competitiveness in the wide receiver room.
Yep.
And we were bringing up the competitiveness in the tight end room. Here's my question. I think Verghese talks about this a lot, about sort of the mentality of certain position groups and its ability to affect the rest of the team. And I'm wondering if wide receiver is a position group that can impact the rest of the team with their mentality. Because my gut says no, but I'm not sure why.
Okay, so historically, the further you are from the ball,
I think that's what I'm thinking,
the less impact you have.
Yeah.
But it also depends on the identity of your team.
Sure.
Right? Seattle functioned with the Legion of Boom.
And they're pretty far from the ball.
Because the strength was in their secondary. You had Cam Chancellor. They had Earl Thomas.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
You had Sherman. And the super tall corner that, like, faded quicker than fade to black. Was a Saint for a while. Super long. Anyway, you've seen the Houston Oilers. You've seen run and shoot with like wide receivers. You've seen it can happen. It just depends on the strength of your team. One of the questions I got last night on Husker Sports Nightly.
Brandon Browner.
Yep. Good call.
I looked it up.
Oh, yeah. It was Brandon Browner.
I'm not going to take credit. I was Googling.
His career, he fell off like a shelf.
He did, yeah.
Just big body to turn and run and do all that for a long time.
And I think we wondered when because he fell off first, right? He left first and fell off first. I think we wondered how, like if it was a system thing for all of them.
Yeah.
Right? But then the other guys were successful at their places, and you're like, oh, I guess it was just a Brandon Browner thing.
Cam Chancellor is one of the more underappreciated great players of this decade.
Dude, Sherman was really good for the 49ers. And I had a hard time with it because I hated that dude.
Oh, you hated Crabtree. That's probably.
I loved Michael Crabtree.
Just don't wear chains.
How many chains can you wear? 2 chains.
You can. It also depends on. So for I wouldn't say wide receivers, no, but I got a call or a question last night to Jess on. Does Nebraska need a 1,000-yard rusher to be successful? And I immediately pitted against what do I think is going to happen with the wide receiver core?
Because they'll make life easier for the running backs?
Well, how much are they going to want to throw the ball? Right? So to your question, how much of that identity will be what happens outside the numbers? The only reason I allowed myself to think like that is because it hurt the run game for so long last year. And it wasn't because they threw the ball. It was because the perimeter blocking was
so poor,
was not very good.
Yeah.
So could they affect it in more than just pass catching and their mentality?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Right? But at first blush, I'm like, no, they couldn't.
And you probably don't want them to be the competitive center of your team?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Like, that's not your preference?
But I will say this. I wish everybody would practice like Ja'Cory Burney.
Because that's why I asked.
So
right?
I will say that. I'm probably entertaining the question more than I thought I would, given all the different dynamics. Because it's not just throwing them the ball.
Right. It's all the other stuff, right?
And we let them kind of define how we felt about the offense last year.
Yeah.
When it was bad.
We really did.
Didn't we?
It's Nair and Banks and these bums.
You know what I mean?
And then we're driving over McGuire. And
so we let it affect our mentality to the bad. Could it to the good? I don't know. But the way that I answered the football question with the 1,000-yard rusher, I said, no, they don't need a 1,000-yard guy, but I think you need 2 to go for somewhere between, I don't know, you need 1,750 yards between 2 running backs.
That's a lot.
Maybe 3. But you need 1,750 out of that position.
Out of the group.
Yeah, because I think somewhere as a team, and I'm not going to count like jet sweeps and handoffs and stuff, you got to get to 2K.
So I could go like 800, 600, 400, and I'm in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Now you're cooking.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how Nebraska
Which feels more plausible than one guy going for 1,200. To me, it does. I don't know. I don't know why.
I wouldn't fight you over that.
Like I don't know if they want
so
one
I wouldn't
guy.
necessarily say, yeah, they've got to have somebody go for $1,000. Now that would be nice.
Sure, makes life easier.
That would be nice. And you got to think now. You go for 1,000 and you play 12 games. I mean,
80 yards a game.
Yeah,
it's not crazy.
It's not.
It's really not.
So
I used to think this all the time about NFL running backs going for 1,000.
Yeah.
Because people always made it this big deal, and I was like, 1,000 divided by 16 isn't that great.
No, but then you look at what teams rush for, and I mean, 160 yards rushing is a good rushing football team.
Now, yeah.
Like, oh god, that sucks.
But even back in the day, people were like, 1,000-yard rusher. I was like, that's 70 yards a game.
I'm with you.
Like, come on. Nobody's writing home if you run for 70 yards a game, but you get to 1,000, it's a big deal. I do wonder, like, I kind of put it in basketball terms, right? Because that's kind of where I lived for a long time, where you've got your offensive guys, right? You've got your, like, it was a really big deal. Part of the reason the Reggie Miller, I don't know why I went there. Part of the reason the Reggie Miller flurry against the Knicks was such a big deal was he gets the steal as part of it. That's not a defensive player, but he locks up in that moment, and that sort of invigorates a team in a way that it's different.
Because they do something that they don't.
That's out of their comfort zone, right?
Yeah. I have a real-life Nebraska example if you want one.
Yeah.
Right. We used to watch the way that Corey Dixon and Abdul Muhammad and Reggie Ball.
Mm-hmm. The itty-bitty committee?
The itty-bitty committee, how they would just knock guys down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would cut and they'd be throwing. They just throw on every play. They just throw and they just throw. And T.O. and Coach Solich would be like, well, you know, it's like, guys, you know, these guys are busting their rear end downfield. Like, you know, the least we could do is be in the camera shot. No, that's real. That's how they would talk to us.
I know. That's why it's funny.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Coach Solich would count the number of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he would go like it wasn't
like the overhead
20.
shot.
Yeah, they would be in the end zone in the White Towers, and
Mm-hmm.
they've torn those down. Like Moose and Carp don't even go up there. They those things don't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
Really. And they would shoot, and we would be watching stations, and you'd see these DBs on the ground,
mm-hmm.
and the kill shot would be somebody's got to be in the picture by about now, don't they? Let's go back and look at what's happening up front, and you'd see these DBs like just fearful of these guys cutting them downfield.
Yeah.
So it was ingrained, was the least we could do to be in the shot.
Yeah. To make that block useful.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's how I teach.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Even when I'm teaching running backs, or I always say, you know, there's cameras in the butts of offensive linemen. You always want to be in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Where their butt is, you want to be in the picture.
Yeah.
And it's just carryover from, can receivers do that and be an identity? If you watch guys get knockdowns.
Yeah.
And really get out, and it's harder now because you can't cut outside the tackle box. Right?
But like if Barney and Cortez Mills
are
out there
guys yeah.
and just hammering dudes,
that would be something that they could build.
Could be a little infectious, right?
100%.
Because like it feels different when Steph Curry blocks a shot versus when Draymond Green blocks a shot.
If you flex Lindenmeyer, Carter Nelson, or some of these guys out in the slot, and you just dog walking guys, or you would.
So that was my next question. Was let's move it in a spot from wide receiver to tight end.
The tight end room interests me. I got you going on that, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they're
I'm all in.
If they're as competitive as we're talking about, and I believe they will, because Harburg's like about that life.
And
Lindemeyer's about that life.
They were the only other position group I think you could make the case where nobody got worse.
Sure. Outside of running back.
Yep.
So let's say all those let's say we like that group, they're hyper competitive. Are they close enough to the center of the ball for it to matter more?
Maybe. I mean, they're close enough for Coach Holgerson to say to me, I like the way that Sat works with Donnie, because they can talk to each other without using words.
Yeah.
So that got his attention.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just dropped in from Pluto, and you like those guys' camaraderie and the chemistry and how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have to be important depending on what kind of play you get at the tackle spot, too.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
because before
an inline guy might be really useful.
Before What's His Buckets decided he wasn't going to play for Boston College, he was getting doubled every time he was an inline DN.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to get doubled.
Yeah.
I mean, they scrapped that game plan and in 3 days.
Yeah.
Seriously. Have that on decent authority.
the first round D end out of BC. Yeah, I don't remember how to say his name, so I was gonna dance around it.
Which, by the way, has not really flashed on a lot of mock boards.
Yeah, I think he's dropping a little. I think he's still a top 2 round guy pretty safely, but there was a time
weird for a guy that had 20 sacks and tiffles, right?
He was pretty consensus top 20 at one point, and I don't know if he's just not testing well or what. But let's take a quick break here. I want to get to a little thing I call True or Delulu about the March Madness first day NCAA tournament. I have some questions, DB.
Yeah.
And I need answers. Am I crazy? Is it true? Or am I Delulu?
No, you're definitely crazy.
Well, we all know that. But am I about these questions I have for you? That's coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We've got some exciting news here to elevate your March to the next level. Introducing Menu Madness here at Hurrdat Sports. This isn't just any tournament. This is a bracket featuring 16 of our most popular food items, and you decide the winner each week when your favorite items go head-to-head. And here's the best part. When you vote, you're automatically signed up for our free loyalty program.
So what are you waiting for? Head over to Hurrdat Sports Bar to watch your favorite team, the biggest games, and get those votes in for your favorite menu item today.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you that there is such a thing as the credit union difference. When you bank with a credit union, you're banking with people in your community and an organization that believes in the power of people helping each other. Bottom line is credit unions are focused on you, and Centris Federal Credit Union is where it's at. CentrisFCU.org is where you can find out more information. See if their products and services match up what you're looking for, whether it's just your regular checking and savings accounts, auto loans, mortgage, home equity, whatever it is, Centris Federal Credit Union has you covered. So if you're ready to experience the credit union difference, check out CentrisFCU.org, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. DB.
Yes, sir.
I've got some questions for you.
All right.
I'm asking us questions. Harassing us.
Wasn't that special?
Saying we eat pieces of, like you for breakfast.
What are you calling this segment again?
Y'all eat pieces of, what's the basis? We ain't going nowhere. We got suits and cases. Trunk full of rental car from Avis. My mama used to say only Jesus could save us. Now, mama, you know what? Active. Sorry. This is called True or Delulu.
I like that.
Dude just had a moment.
Yeah, I miss normal Kanye.
Yeah. He's definitely not normal.
I miss normal Kanye.
I'm all the way off.
And that's a jam that not everybody listens to. Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That was like
Jesus walks.
That was like the one song at Christian college that people are like, oh yeah, we can listen to Kanye.
Yeah. Now he's dropping the R word on people's kids.
Yeah.
I would leave. I'm not a Jay-Z guy anymore because I think he's
a
little less scrupulous than.
Is it the Illuminati thing?
He's just got some anyway.
Skeletons.
Yeah, but you can't be talking about people's kids like that.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not cool.
And who still says the R word?
People that aren't real cool.
Yeah, he had a. Did you see that meltdown the other day?
Yeah.
They got
He needs to shut it down.
Ooh.
Listen,
there's no coming back.
There's really not. Also, like if you have diagnosed mental health disorders, take your medication. Take your medication.
Yeah.
Like that's not. I'm not trying to be flippant here, but take your medication.
Just the spurts of idiocy.
Yeah, take your medication, bud.
Back away.
I promise whatever side effects you're having, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think the trigger was not being able to use his daughter on the tracks.
Yeah.
He got the cease and desist.
Yeah. But he's definitely Delulu.
100%.
I'm trying to figure out if some of my takes,
questions,
concerns, if they're true or Delulu.
Questions, comments, criticisms.
About which you can always hit us up at 888-638-4876. Probably we'll have to wait till Monday because show's almost over, but that's all right. You can still call us whenever you want. Just call and talk to Shane.
Oh, shoot.
All right. Number one, true or Delulu. We're going to start right here at home. Creighton can upset top overall seed Auburn on Saturday. True or Delulu? Can, not will, can.
True.
They're capable.
True.
Okay. What would you put the odds at?
20%.
Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. That's definitely true.
I think that's fair. That's valid. All right, number two.
Now they're going to have to do that thing again where they take care of the ball.
Yes. So maybe I should ask it this way.
Auburn's pissy, and
yeah, because they didn't play well.
No, and they kind of haven't.
It's been a couple weeks since they've been playing very well. Let me put it this way: if Creighton plays the way they did against Louisville, they will beat Auburn. True or Delulu?
It's not Delulu, but it's certainly not true because I need to know how Auburn's playing.
Need a touch better?
Yeah. I was very disappointed in Louisville's lack of preparation, almost as much as I was impressed by
with Max and Creighton's
preparation. And I should be used to Mac.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically what I said during the show.
I mean, word for word almost.
Yeah. It's like he's the best.
The best there is at the Scout.
Yeah.
Number two, in your backyard. Well, not in your backyard, but in your wheelhouse. North Carolina is poised to make a real tournament run. True or Delulu?
True.
You said Sweet 16, though?
Yeah, they can win, too.
Okay. Number three. Cooper Flagg should sit for Duke, even if he is medically cleared today. True or Delulu? I think this is harder than it. I think this is hard.
Gosh. See, I don't like the duality of it. Do I just have to answer?
I mean, you can provide nuance if you'd like.
Delulu.
He should play a little bit at least.
If you can play.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my personality.
No, I know. I have a hard time. I've had a lot of ankle injuries. Like a lot.
Too. Yeah.
I've had surgery on it. I've got anchors in one of my ankles. So I'm sensitive to how slowly you feel 100%. And so my thought is, if you can play one game and then have another 4 or 5 days off, as opposed to playing 2 games in 3 days,
yeah,
like it makes me a little uncomfortable because obviously I don't know how his ankle feels, right? I'm sure they'll make it feel fine for the game, but what does that look like on Sunday? What does that look like for next week? Like there's a part of me that says, hey, go beat your 16 seed, roll Cooper Flag out on Sunday.
No, I think Delulu.
Okay.
I think Delulu.
We asked this a little bit earlier.
Although you're going to wind up like me against Texas, but it's fine.
It's tough with ankles are tough, man. Like I said, I'm real sensitive about ankles.
Yeah.
I get it. Speaking of Texas, we kind of talked about this with Zach a little bit. Texas is a good.
Shouldn't that job be open?
It is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they fired him like an hour after he lost.
I forgot. I got that. Who sent that to me was Bulk Dog.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he was on it.
Yeah, I got the alert, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, he was on it. It was in my messages.
Texas is a good basketball job. True or Delulu?
True.
How good is it?
I think it's pretty good. It's not that poll that came out pre-COVID. They called it top 10.
No.
It's hard, apparently, and it's really hard.
Because, look at Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart's a good basketball coach. He struggled there.
Yeah, look at Beard.
Even before
he did his thing.
Kind of. So I'm glad you brought Chris Beard up. I was, for unprompted, was looking at him literally like an hour ago.
Yeah. And
his head coaching record.
Now, hear my heart.
Yeah.
When I say did his thing, he got himself in trouble.
Yes.
That's what I was talking about.
Yes.
I don't want you to make it seem like, he's racking up 26 wins.
No. This could fit in True or Delulu. Do we overrate Chris Beard a little bit?
True.
Like he loses a lot more than we think.
Somebody just messaged me yesterday.
Really?
We should hire Chris Beard.
Like Nebraska?
Let me see who it was.
Is that what they meant by we?
Yes. By the way, now in my defense, Ryan did invite me.
Okay.
But it was buried in a lot of things we were talking about. Like, look how long this message is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
right?
That's fair. That's
and
fair.
He said,
it got a little lost.
You ghosted me, crickets. My freezer is still available. He has a very good freezer.
Freezer games, right? Got like one of the big chest ones.
If you like chilled Chopin, it's amazing.
All right.
I'm glad you thought that was funny, Shane. I did too. He's been sitting on this for probably 2 years. This bottle.
Just cuz?
Yeah, he got it for me.
Oh, there you go. You go pick it up.
When I lived close, I was a frequent flyer.
Yeah. So, Chris Beard.
So now I'm back to you're fine. You're in good graces.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Outside of the runner-up run, has never lost fewer than double-digit games.
I believe you.
At a power conference school.
I didn't hesitate. I think we do overrate him a little.
I was stunned by that.
I'm not. So do you know why?
Why?
I know this. Because he burns so high. So his temperament lends himself to his teams being streaky.
That's a guy that I wouldn't want to deal with.
When they're bad, it can go south in a hurry because I think he can tailspin.
Because he doesn't have the poise.
But when it's rolling, he would be a great front runner.
Could I convince you there's a little bow there? It felt like on Pelini's teams, he could spiral a little bit with the team.
So I'm always okay. I hope the mayor's not listening because Joe would try to slap me. I give Bo a little grace.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. I can acknowledge his shortcomings. I
Mhm.
know what they were, right? When you're hypersensitive and hyperparanoid and you're here,
It's a tough place to be.
it's a tough place to be.
Mhm.
Understand that. But I would have liked to see if he could surround himself with people to
Help him out a little
offset
bit.
his weaknesses
Sure.
with good leadership.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Instead, he sort of insulated himself with like-minded people
yeah, he doubled down on
the paranoia.
Yep.
And the rabbit ears.
It's just too hard to sustain.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
It did feel like sometimes he would spiral with his teams, though.
Yeah. But I mean, you've heard KB. Anybody ride harder for the brand than that guy?
No.
And they all love him.
I would say everybody in that locker room loves that guy.
1,000%.
Which I don't know if that's the case for Beard. I genuinely don't know. I'm not disparaging. I don't know if that's the case for Beard's teams. But I do.
How about some of his stories?
Chris Beard or KB?
That era is as close to delusional, or not delusional, as close to out there is us.
Yeah. As far as like the guys that are out there.
Yeah.
We'll have to have KB on here soon.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's fun to talk
they had
to.
the Alex Lewis. They had some guys.
They had a lot of guys that were certifiable.
They would drop anchor and be like, "What?"
They're about that life.
Yes.
Last one before we get to verse here on my True or Delulu. We will have at least 3 number 1 seeds make the Final Four. True or Delulu?
True.
So but you're out on Duke, right?
Auburn, Florida, and Houston.
Okay.
True.
Write
it down.
I've got 3 also, but
one of them's Duke, and it's not. Don't tell me it's not.
You should know. You should know. You should know.
It's not Auburn?
I'm a homer.
Wow. Go ahead then with your bad self.
I'm a homer. It's not Auburn. I've got Michigan State coming out of the region there.
Wouldn't be surprising, but that will be a 1-2 matchup. Write that down too.
It's going to be an 8-2 match or 9-2 matchup. Jays.
Speak it into existence then, Ravi.
Manifest, baby. I'm speaking into existence next. We're going to talk to Matt Vrzal here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Now let's find out what Matt Vrzal is better at. Telling stories or making pizza.
Matt.
Matt's an exceptional young man.
Matt Vrzal.
Happy birthday, Matt.
You know, Matt, he's a tremendous athlete.
Matt Vrzal.
Come on, Matt, I'm with you.
You know, like Matt Vrzal, you're one of the sexiest people in the world, but you're not one of the most beautiful. How does that happen?
Here is Matt Vrzal.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
Wrapping up the show and wrapping up the week as we always do here on Hurrdat Sports Live with our guy, Matt Vrzal, former Husker, owner of Paisan's Pizzeria. What's up, Verse?
What's up, fuckers?
Hi, buddy.
We might make T-shirts, Verse. Just have that on there.
Hey, you know what's funny?
No. Already made. Don't even try.
You know what's funny, Matt? And you just totally moved off of it. And I do it to you, so it's whatever. It's fair. On my deck right now, in a cooler, what would you guess is in there?
Marijuana.
You're an idiot. I don't even smoke. Dude, that was 30 years ago. Okay, 26. Wait, 51 minus 25. Yes, 26 years ago. Anyway, Matt, based on
I think you should.
Based on your text, he's so stupid. Nah, I can't function. Just a grade
real quick.
Just a grade A dummy.
I'm not familiar.
Marijuana.
I'm apparently not as familiar.
You asked me to guess. I guessed.
I'm apparently not as familiar with the Leaf as you guys are. Do you have?
No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I don't know who you guys is. Ass numbnuts over there.
Does it need to be kept in a cooler?
It's a dumb guess. He's just Verghese.
I mean, if you got gummies, yeah, it's always good to keep them cold. I got some in the cooler right there.
Dial in. Based on your
brisket.
Yes. And dude goes, wrong person. Do you know how pumped I was?
Oh no, that was the next text. I sent you two.
You didn't even follow up. You're just like, wrong person.
You can bring it over. I told you that.
No, but then you said wrong person like you didn't mean to send it to me.
Okay. Now we have to pull. I sent a text to you that was not intended for you. That was the wrong person one. The brisket one is for you. It says, if you have a brisket, bring it over. We're making brine today. And then it said, in the future, asterisk, which was supposed to be intended for somebody else. That was the wrong person text.
Oh, that's not how.
Oh.
No, shut. Zip it over there. Hold on. I'm going to get a neutral third party before you go all in because you just want to be. How would you read that?
I would read it as the asterisk in the future was talking about the brisket, and then I would think the whole thing was applying to the wrong person.
Thank you.
That's how I would take it.
Weird. Ravi not go against what Damon says. What a shocking revelation.
Wow. Hey.
Thanks for riveting radio.
Hey, we're not even on the radio anymore, Verghese.
Makes for riveting internet.
Dude,
I
don't know about you, man.
It says, if you have a brisket, bring it over. We are making brine today.
Yep. And then
you thought in the future then canceled out the if you have a brisket, bring it over?
It was 259 and 305. So I'm thinking you meant like in the future, like giving me leeway. And then when you
said, there's the problem. You're an overthinker.
No, of course it's on me.
I did wonder why you didn't respond. Well, you know what would help in my response.
So you fired off 3 texts in 7 minutes, and it ended with wrong person.
I can't help it. My fingers are fast as fuck. Just say, sounds good. Or, oh, so why would you send me that? I'd be like, dude, just bring it over. That wasn't meant for you. This is a one-way friendship. I really feel I reach out and try to be nice, and you just shit on me.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, my child.
Are you okay? So do you have the brine or no?
Yeah. That's the part that said we're making brine today.
Okay. All right. We can move on to something else because you make my stomach burn because you sell this.
That sounds like an ulcer.
You sell this bill of goods. You come across as believable, like I'm the idiot, and
I've never once said that. You're the one that calls me names. I think you're very intelligent.
See, this is what he does. He plays.
I think you have a wide-ranging vocabulary, and some of the words I don't understand.
What are you laughing at?
I say Shane liked that one.
You know, it'd be fun.
No, I don't. Why don't you humor me?
If somehow we can get Stephen A to call into your show,
I hate
and you guys just go huge word for huge word.
You know what I think?
I think you would whoop his ass.
Some other Cro-Magnon Neanderthal looking bald dude.
Yeah.
and have a podcast with him so
Look
you
at that.
guys can go round and round. How about that?
My brain is so huge it pushed my skull out. Both sides. In the back too.
Hey, feel my forehead.
Hey, you want to talk about my future bets on UConn? I need UConn to win 2 games in this tournament so I can get bought out.
Why?
They're not winning it at all.
Bought out by who?
The whatever thing I got to drive to Iowa to gamble on.
So you have a future?
So when UConn won it last year, I drove over and I put a future on them for the 3-peat. Thinking the McWhite guy was going to be really good, but he kind of comes and goes.
You mean
that is
so now
that is what Jesus is known
famously
for.
he did
so
come
now,
and go.
Truth, that's coming up too, 420. Now to bring it back to the beginning. So now I got to have UConn win like 2-3 games, and then I figure they're going to offer me a buyout, and then I can get out of that bet because they ain't winning it.
March. It is March. I'm sorry. I was being rude, Matt. So why? So 2 games, you think somebody's going to take the bait?
Oh, yeah.
Enough to cover your investment at least?
Make a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was talking to
is he flipping me? Were you giving me the finger with trying to be low key?
No, scratch my head. I can if you want me to. Then the other one, you know what I bet just before the tournament started with help from my friend Stav Wilbur in Iowa?
For
the
who?
Johnnies.
Who?
I got the Johnnies to win it all.
Told me that the other day when
Chris Mullen, Mark Jackson.
What?
Take me back.
Looked at you with the side eye. Like, why are you on St. John?
Because they play rough.
A shocker.
I'll say because
their head. Did you hear Patino? He goes, "We can't shoot." He goes, "We are terrible at shooting."
Hey, how
He goes,
about?
but we're really good at defense.
How about when
I
they
was like,
come to the break and they're down and he goes, "We always do this. We'll learn our lesson.
Right.
We'll learn our lesson. We'll figure it out." Like he's like, basically as if to say, "Okay, if you guys lose, this is on you. I told you don't do this."
You've coached for a long time too. You know some teams they wait for the ass chewing.
Yeah.
Like, what we got to do to get our ass chewed so we can kind of wake up here.
Did you see that guy strolling to the locker room during halftime?
Oh, I thought somebody might get killed.
Oh, I was like, oh boy, that East Coast is coming out.
I thought there might be a murder.
And then in the line of questionings after, they were talking to Zuby, and the question was basically trying to read into his body language, like, "Hey, you don't seem to have as much joy, is there any?" And Patino interrupts and he goes, "What are you, a psychologist?"
That's a great line.
Oh, I'm like, oh, Patino isn't having it, man. I guess that's why we're putting that dude on the Mount Rushmore. Like, he'd make your Mount Rushmore. All right, stop doing that. And how many packets do you have in?
We're good today. We got it all.
So you got the 2 and the chew?
Yep. We do. We're feeling good today.
That's why it's so spicy today.
No, that's every day. That's every day.
No, so we got Scott today. So apologies. The dining room won't be open for lunch.
You're gonna put that.
I got a guy coming over. They're gonna use the party room for the day. And I get in, and a lot of my happiness depends on the quality of the dough that we make. And so whoever made the dough,
all things in life,
whoever made the dough the other night did not do very well. And so the boss was quite livid for a while. So I came over here to the party room and I punched some stuff, and now we're good.
So I'm going to ask this for fear I know the answer.
Yeah.
You're being serious that your day starts off with how you feel about the dough?
On Friday, when I get here at 3:30 in the morning, yeah.
You need a hobby.
I got a job.
The dough dictates the mood. How many are they asking for today?
When you do anything at 3:30 in the morning, the quality of the product you are working with is going to have a big impact on that, my man.
Yeah, if I watched Reacher this morning about 1:40. So if my TV wasn't working, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. And if you're Reacher, that guy's on so much sauce, like That guy's juiced to the gills.
Oh, he's like this wholesome, good-natured.
Yes,
dude.
he is on so much sauce, DB.
Man, but his whoever's the writer for that show is pretty awesome because there's some great. I relate to the homie.
There's a guy bigger than him on the show that he's getting ready to fight in episode 8. In like real life, the guy's like 7 foot.
Okay.
I'm curious though. Are you familiar with him? Because you're like accusing him of some things.
Yeah, it's Dad from Blue Mountain State.
Are you? Is it just because he can't look like that? He's not that old.
He's 42.
Buddy. I mean,
he's 42. I mean,
we're past the physical peak there at 42.
That guy.
And he keeps getting bigger.
I love how I'm sitting next to 2 human lab rats, so you guys are just like breaking this whole thing down for me.
How are we lab rats?
Because how many nice drinks have you made me when you want me to fix something that ails me?
A lot.
Oh, there you go. So does that fit?
It's like daily.
Oh, I mean, not you stop.
Hey, how'd Zilbear like her pizza the other day after Top Golf?
I'm not gonna get defensive. I've tried some things.
She ate 4 slices. It was a good call on getting the whole pizza. I was only gonna get. Yeah, she ate 4 slices, and then I came home from the show the next day, and she was allowed to have it for breakfast. So I guess.
Hey, now we looked at some of her film at Top Golf. Do you now see the vision where we need to get repetition? We need to focus on the golf life.
Yeah, but she likes
West Side's got that thing over there. You can go hit all year round. She could be putting. If they let you in there. I tried to get in there one day when you go. Oh, I was with you. You were giving me the tour of IMG North, and we couldn't get in the golf thing.
IMG North. Matt, I hope next Friday you like the dough.
Love you.
I hope you really have nice dough. Dude's freaking.
Hey,
you think he's hilarious?
While you guys are,
I think he's pretty average.
I've seen the comments too. A lot of people think I'm funny, which just kind of fuels the fire.
Is there gonna be like an indoor tennis center you can hook me up with, or are you guys not doing that?
Who's you
Are you a
got?
tennis guy, Ravi?
Oh, I love tennis.
He loves tennis.
I love tennis.
He said with his money, if he had, what did you call it?
FU money,
he would build an indoor tennis facility. I told him I'd get a couple cows and a couple of pigs and a processor.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
You are gonna raise cattle and hog.
I don't know if I would raise them. I mean, I would kind of hang out with them and let somebody that knows what they're doing raise them.
Oh, okay. Well, they're pretty simple. You just give them some grass and they'll eat it. Hogs, you got slop hogs. But
well,
yeah,
hogs are mean. Hogs are crazy mean.
They will eat you, like for real.
Like when I got shipped up to the farm in the summer after baseball, and that's how I knew my grandma was badass. But we would be going to take care of the hogs. The first thing she did as soon as she opened the gate, kick one of them sons of bitches right in the head. I mean, boot in the head. I'm like, oh my God, why'd you kick that hog? That hog, it didn't do anything to you. She goes, you got to let them know. She goes, if they think they can get you down, they will get you down. She goes, and you think they're good, they'll eat you.
Yeah, they will eat you.
Like, man,
maybe I'll get 2 extra cows and not any pigs.
You don't want anything to do with hogs unless you're trying to hide.
You seem like a chicken guy. Like you need a coop of chickens. Because you like chicken. You like eggs.
Why are you? Is that funny, Ravi?
I'm getting Megan and Ben have chickens. It's great. I get farm fresh eggs every couple weeks.
Yeah.
You good?
No.
You good?
Yeah,
he's sweating a little bit.
He's going there. Maddie, that's uncalled for.
Why can't I say that you like chickens?
Because you're trending. The whole watermelon neutral, and you made me the drink and you crushed.
We've told you I like watermelon as well. That's my favorite flavor.
I seem like a chicken guy.
I think maybe
like eggs.
They were lower.
I not.
I think you meant there were lower maintenance to raise than pigs.
I would like you to stop trying to pigeonhole me into something I am not.
Well, I think you do a pretty good job. I mean, just saying.
Hey, did I tell you what Klesser did at my 50th birthday?
No.
So he comes in and well, actually, Peyton, the server, comes out. She goes, Verge, there's a guy in here looking for you. I was like, well, send him out here. I'm just sitting outside with Clinton. And Klesser sticks his head outside. He goes, Verge. I was like, what's up, Clinton? Or what's up, Klesser? He goes, man. And, Klesser, huge smile, just laughing, having a time. He goes, dog, for a while, I forgot you were white. He goes, there's a lot of white people in there. Oh, that was hilarious. Still makes me smile.
My favorite verse story ever is about Clinton Portis.
What was it?
He told me he got lost in kind of the wrong part of Omaha one time.
Child,
not
yeah.
Portis.
Yeah.
Wrong black running back. My bad.
Yeah.
Just walk over DB day. I mean, people just say whatever the heck they want to about race.
He got lost in the wrong part, and apparently Childs had always told him, hey, you get lost in the wrong part of Omaha, just tell him you're looking for me. And some guy's coming up to his window, and he's like, I also remembered, I think it was Coach Teneper always told you, hey, get the first word in. And he goes, so this guy, Osborne told you to get the first word in. So he rolls the window down as the guy's coming up his car. He's like, hey, I'm looking for Clinton Childs. He goes, oh, yeah, right up there.
Hey, man, I'm lost. I'm looking for Clinton Childs. He goes, oh, 2 blocks up, 2 blocks over. He goes, get your white ass out of here. I was like, yeah, deal.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
less. Stay less.
The amazing
Gone.
makes a good point, Verz. I want you to know I'm not reading into animosity that I have towards you. He goes, I like how Verz implies that it's way too complicated for Damon, and then follows up with, it's really easy.
Yeah.
So it's not just me. We can hear the undertones.
Me? I'm offended by that, Damon, and I think I'm going to end this call because I think you're being a meanie.
Have a good day, Maddie.
What are you doing today?
I don't know. I have to get my ears lowered.
Oh, you do? I can fade you up. Come over. I got clippers right there.
Oh, no, I'm not really like your vibe today.
Why don't you trust me, Damon? What's your trust issue with me?
If it was with my kids, it's very, very high. Me depends on your mood. And apparently now that you have bad dough, who knows what's going to happen.
Now, I built a bridge and got over that. I gutted that out. That's over.
This dude.
Come on down. I'll fade you up.
Yeah. Put me to work like vacuuming again and then get mad at how I
spice bomb at the end.
Do what?
The spice bomb.
What's spice bomb? The
spice
stuff?
bomb. You saw the video I sent you. I bought some of that.
Oh yeah, that's your baby, man. Hey, is that
that dude ain't been posting nothing either lately. It's bumming me out.
So he might have got booted. Have you checked out? Have you looked at his page yet? Let's see what's going on. I don't know.
A lot of work.
I don't know if he is or not.
If I don't scroll across my TikTok For You page, I ain't searching it out. It's just got to come across there.
Okay.
The universe will provide.
Yeah. That.
Verz, we appreciate it.
All right, Crow Magnum. Have a good rest of the next 30 minutes.
Why are you trying to hurt me, Damon? I have issues with my huge skull.
Look like you've been headbutting trees.
It's been like this since I was born, Damon. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for your concern.
Are you sure he's okay?
I think you're the mean person. You accuse me of being mean a lot.
Well,
let's put up a poll. Who's meaner, Damon or
not
me?
a poll show, buddy?
You're about to be Shane.
You think Shane
will poll?
Oh, Shane, he can barely turn on the equipment. You think?
Sasha.
Put up a poll.
Look how
we need a poll.
Why are you saying her name like that? Are you implying she's of someplace else? Sasha.
I don't think she's there. I think she's listening.
Oh, good save.
She is listening.
A little new here.
A little Shesterkin over there. Little butterfly kick save.
Yeah. Ooh, thanks. I'll take that one.
Quick, Maddie. I like it.
We'll talk to you later, Verz.
See you, fuckers.
That's Hurrdat Sports Live, apparently. We'll be back on Monday.
Total crapshoot.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.